Good evening, my friends. Tonight I want to share with you perhaps the most difficult yet most liberating teaching I have ever given. You must completely ignore what your outer reality is telling you. I can already see some of you tensing at these words. Your rational mind is protesting. But Neville, you're thinking, I have real problems, real debt, real sickness, real loneliness. How can I ignore what is right in front of me? And that is precisely the question I will answer tonight. Not with empty platitudes or wishful thinking, but with the profound understanding of how reality actually operates and how you can consciously use this knowledge to transform your entire life. What I am about to teach you will sound like insanity to those who are enslaved by their senses. But to those who are ready to claim their power as conscious creators, it will be the key that unlocks every door. Let me ask you something. Who told you that what you see is more real than what you imagine? Who gave your eyes the authority to dictate what is possible for you? Who decided that the numbers in your bank account have more power than the feelings in your consciousness? You have been hypnotized since childhood to believe that the physical world is the ultimate reality, that what you can touch and measure and verify with your senses is the truth, and everything else is merely fantasy or delusion. This is the greatest lie ever told to humanity. And as long as you believe it, you will remain imprisoned by circumstances, forever reacting to a world that seems to impose itself upon you. The truth is this: what you call your outer reality is not reality at all. It is a photograph of the past. It is a frozen moment reflecting consciousness that you held yesterday, last week, last year. It has no power to create your future unless you give it that power by continuing to react to it as though it were the ultimate truth. I knew a man who was so imprisoned by his outer reality that he could not even conceive of change. His business had failed. His marriage had ended. His health was deteriorating. Every day he would wake up and survey this wreckage. And every day he would say, "This is my life. This is what is real. This is what I must accept." And I said to him, "You are not accepting reality. You are creating it. Every moment you spend focused on these conditions, every thought you give to these circumstances, every feeling of hopelessness you indulge, you are impressing upon your consciousness the very state that will perpetuate these conditions." But these things actually happened. He protested. My business did fail. My wife did leave. My body is sick. These are facts. They are facts about what has already been created. I replied. They are the harvest of seeds you planted in consciousness in the past. But right now, in this very moment, you are planting new seeds. The question is, are you planting seeds of the same barren crop? Or are you planting seeds of a new and abundant harvest? You see, your outer reality is nothing more than the manifested result of your former states of consciousness. It is not happening to you, it is happening from you. And the moment you understand this, you gain the power to change it. Here is the principle that will set you free. Your consciousness is the only creative power in your universe. Not the economy, not other people, not luck or fate or circumstance. Your consciousness and your consciousness alone creates your experience. Every condition in your life, every situation you face, every person who appears in your world exists as they are because of the state of consciousness you have been occupying. Change your state of consciousness, and everything in your outer world must change to match it. This is not theory. This is not philosophy. This is observable, demonstrable law. The outer world is effect, never cause. It is the reflection, not the source. It is the shadow, not the substance. When you look in a mirror and see an image you don't like, you do not try to change the mirror. You recognize that the mirror is simply reflecting what stands before it. If you want to see a different image, you must change what is standing before the mirror. Your outer reality works exactly the same way. It is a perfect mirror reflecting your consciousness. If you want to see different circumstances, you cannot change the reflection directly. You must change the consciousness that is creating the reflection. A woman came to me who had been trying to manifest a new job for over a year. She had applied to hundreds of positions. She had networked tirelessly. She had done everything the world tells you to do to change your circumstances through external action, but nothing was working, and she was becoming increasingly desperate and discouraged. I said to her, "You are trying to change the reflection while standing in the same place before the mirror. You are taking action in the outer world while maintaining the consciousness of unemployment, of lack, of not being wanted, and the mirror can only reflect what you are broadcasting from consciousness." "But I'm trying so hard," she said. "I'm doing everything I know to do." "That is exactly the problem," I replied. Your trying, your effort, your desperate action, all of this confirms to consciousness that you do not have what you desire. You are standing before the mirror as an unemployed person desperately seeking employment. The mirror must reflect that reality back to you. I taught her to stop trying to change the outer world and to instead change her consciousness. You must assume you are already employed in your ideal position. I said, you must feel it, think from it, move through your day with the quiet confidence of someone who is already successfully employed. She struggled with this at first. How could she feel employed when she was clearly not employed? How could she ignore the daily rejections, the mounting bills, the concerned questions from family members? But I explained those rejections are reflections of your former state. They are old news, already on their way out. Right now you can occupy a new state, the state of being employed, of being valued, of being successful. And as you persist in this new state, the mirror must change. It has no choice. She committed to this practice. Every morning she would spend time in consciousness as an employed person. She would feel the satisfaction of meaningful work, imagine conversations with colleagues, experience the security of steady income. And throughout her day, whenever evidence of unemployment appeared, she would recognize it as old reflection and return to her assumption. Within 3 weeks, she received an unexpected call from a company she had interviewed with months earlier. They had created a new position specifically suited to her skills and wanted her to start immediately. The job was better than anything she had been applying for. The mirror had changed because she had changed what was standing before it. Now this is where most people fail in their manifestation attempts. They understand the principle intellectually. They grasp that consciousness creates reality. But when faced with concrete evidence that contradicts their desire, they cave. They let the outer reality dictate their inner state. They affirm abundance in the morning, but when the bills arrive in the afternoon, they panic. They visualize health at night, but when symptoms persist in the morning, they despair. They assume love in meditation, but when they face another lonely evening, they resign themselves to their fate. This is giving ultimate authority to the outer reality. This is bowing before the false god of physical evidence. This is allowing the mirror to tell you who you are instead of you telling the mirror who you are. To successfully ignore outer reality requires tremendous courage. It requires that you remain loyal to your unseen assumption even when everything visible contradicts it. It requires that you give more weight to your imagined reality than to your perceived reality. Let me tell you about a gentleman who demonstrated this courage perfectly. He had been diagnosed with a condition that doctors told him was irreversible and progressive. The medical evidence was clear. The symptoms were worsening. His prognosis was grim. Every expert, every authority, every piece of evidence told him the same thing. Accept this condition as your reality and learn to live with increasing limitation. But he refused. Not from denial, not from fear, but from understanding that the medical diagnosis was merely reporting on his former state of consciousness, and consciousness could change at any moment. He began to completely disregard the outer evidence. When symptoms appeared, he would observe them without giving them meaning or power. This is what was, he would say to himself. But what is now being created in consciousness is perfect health. He spent time each day dwelling in the consciousness of perfect health, not hoping for it, not working toward it, but assuming it, feeling it, thinking from it as though it were already his present reality. His doctors grew concerned. His family thought he was delusional, but he remained steadfast in his assumption, regardless of what the outer reality continued to show him. And gradually, impossibly according to medical understanding, his condition began to reverse. Tests that had shown deterioration began showing improvement. Symptoms that had been worsening began subsiding. Within a year, his doctors could find no trace of the condition they had declared irreversible. He had demonstrated the courage to disregard evidence. He had refused to let the outer reality be his master. And the outer reality, having no power of its own, had conformed to his inner assumption. So how do you actually do this? How do you ignore outer reality in a practical, sustainable way when you are surrounded by evidence that contradicts your desire? Let me give you the method I have taught thousands of people to use with remarkable success. First, you must understand that ignoring outer reality does not mean you pretend it doesn't exist. You acknowledge what you see, but you refuse to accept it as permanent or powerful. You see it as old news, as a fading photograph, as the dying echo of former consciousness. Second, you must create a new reality in your imagination with such vividness and feeling that it becomes more real to you than your physical circumstances. This is the key. Your imagined reality must feel more substantial, more true, more compelling than your physical reality. How do you do this? Through what I call the evening practice. Every night, as you prepare for sleep, you enter into your imagination with a specific purpose. You imagine a scene that would only exist if your desire were already fulfilled. Not a scene of getting what you want, but a scene that implies you already have it. A scene that takes place after your desire has manifested. If you desire financial abundance, do not imagine receiving money. Imagine what you would be doing with that abundance already in your possession. Perhaps you imagine writing a check for a charity donation with ease. Perhaps you imagine a conversation where you casually mention a purchase you made without any concern about cost. Make this scene specific, short, and sensory-rich. Experience it from inside it, as though you are actually there. Feel what you would feel. See what you would see. Hear what you would hear. Make it so vivid that for those few moments, your physical circumstances fade away and this imagined reality becomes your reality. Do this every night without fail. Fall asleep in this imagined reality, in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This impresses your consciousness with your new assumption. This plants the seed of your new reality. But here is where most people stop. And this is why they fail. The evening practice plants the seed. But you must nurture it throughout the day. Throughout your waking hours, you must practice thinking from your new assumption rather than from your current circumstances. When you face evidence that contradicts your desire, you must consciously label it as old reality and return your attention to your new assumption. If you desire abundance but receive a bill in the mail, instead of reacting with worry, you recognize this belongs to the old reality. In my new reality, I am abundantly supplied. Then you deliberately return to the feeling of abundance. If you desire health but experience symptoms, instead of fearing the worst, you recognize this is the fading echo of former consciousness. My new reality is perfect health. Then you return to the feeling of vitality. This is not denial. This is conscious selection of which reality you will feed with your attention and feeling. Because whatever you feed grows, and whatever you starve dies. Now you may be wondering, if I ignore my outer reality and dwell in my imagination, how will my circumstances actually change? Don't I need to take action? Don't I need to work with the world as it is? This is the beautiful mystery of how consciousness operates. When you dwell persistently in a new state of consciousness, pathways open that were invisible from your former state. Opportunities appear that could not have appeared before. People say and do things that create circumstances you could never have orchestrated consciously. I call this the bridge of incidents. You do not need to figure out how your desire will manifest. You do not need to plan the steps. You simply need to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled, and the bridge will build itself. A young woman wanted to travel to Europe, but had no money, no time off from work, and no apparent way to make the trip happen. From her current state of consciousness, it was genuinely impossible, but she learned to ignore this outer reality. Every night she would imagine herself in the specific places she wanted to visit. She would feel the cobblestones under her feet in Paris, smell the flowers in an Italian garden, hear the sounds of a London street. She made these imaginal experiences so vivid that they became more real to her than her daily routine. And she would catch herself throughout the day, starting to think about all the reasons she couldn't go. I don't have the money. I can't get time off. It's not practical. But each time she would stop these thoughts and return to her assumption, I am someone who travels to Europe. This is natural for me. This is my reality. She did not scheme or force. She simply persisted in this new state of consciousness while going about her normal life. Within 2 months, a series of unexpected events unfolded. Her company announced a new program, sending employees to European offices for training. She was selected. The trip was paid. She spent 3 weeks visiting the exact cities she had been imagining. The bridge had built itself, not through her conscious planning, but through her persistent assumption that she was someone who traveled to Europe. Let me leave you with this final truth. Your willingness to ignore outer reality and dwell in your desired state reveals whether you truly understand this teaching or whether you are still enslaved by the tyranny of the senses. If you can look at circumstances that contradict your desire and remain peaceful, confident, and certain, you understand. If you can maintain your assumption despite all evidence to the contrary, you understand. If you can give more reality to your imagination than to your perception, you understand. But if you are constantly disturbed by outer conditions, if you let evidence shake your faith, if you cannot hold your assumption in the face of contradiction, then you are still worshipping the false god of physical reality. You are still bowing before the mirror instead of recognizing that you are what creates the reflection. The outer world has no power except the power you give it through your acceptance of it as ultimate reality. The moment you withdraw that power, the moment you recognize it as reflection rather than source, as effect rather than cause, as shadow rather than substance, you are free. Free to create consciously. Free to assume any state you choose. Free to manifest any desire you hold. Free to live from your imagination rather than from your circumstances. This is not escapism. This is not delusion. This is the most practical, powerful truth you can ever apply. Consciousness creates reality, and you control consciousness. Ignore outer reality as the final authority. Give your loyalty to your imagined reality. Persist in your assumption regardless of what you see, hear, or are told by others. And watch as the outer world, which has no creative power of its own, slowly and then suddenly conforms itself to match the reality you have dared to claim in consciousness. The mirror must reflect what stands before it. Change what stands before it. And the reflection must change. This is law. This is power. This is your inheritance as a conscious creator. Ignore outer reality. Dwell in your desired state. Persist until assumption hardens into fact. Thank you, and good evening. As always, thank you for joining me on this journey into the depths of consciousness. Remember, you are not here by accident. You are here because your soul is ready for this truth. Take these teachings and let them transform not just your mind, but your entire reality. Until we meet again in consciousness, keep assuming your greatness and living from the end of your desires. This is Best of Lectures, and I'll see you in the next video. Welcome, my friends. Tonight I want to explore with you something that could fundamentally change how you see yourself and your place in the world. The creative force that exists within human consciousness, and how understanding this force can transform every aspect of your life. We've all heard the phrase "with God, all things are possible." But I want to suggest something that might challenge your thinking. This creative power isn't separate from you, it is you. The ancient texts speak of the Word becoming flesh, but perhaps they mean something deeper than we've traditionally understood. Perhaps they mean that the creative principle of the universe has taken up residence within human consciousness itself. Consider this carefully. If there is truly only one creative power in existence, and if that power operates through consciousness, then your consciousness must be an expression of that same divine creativity. We are not separate beings hoping for divine intervention. We are divine creativity in individualized form. When we examine our own experience, we find something remarkable: our capacity to imagine. This isn't just daydreaming or fantasy. It's the same force that brings all reality into being. Look around you right now. Everything you see, the chair you're sitting in, the building we're in, the clothes you wear, all of it was once merely imagined. Someone conceived these things in their mind before they became physical reality. Your imagination isn't just a tool you possess. It's your true identity. Every great achievement in human history began as someone's imagined possibility. The founding fathers of America didn't believe in the future as something that would happen to them. They believed in the future they could create. They had no evidence for democracy working, no precedent for their vision, yet they imagined it so vividly and persistently that it became the foundation of a nation. They understood something we've forgotten, that imagining creates reality. Not through magic or supernatural intervention, but through the natural operation of consciousness itself. When you consistently hold an assumption about reality, you literally think from that state. And thinking from a state creates that state in your external experience. This is how creation works, through assumption becoming fact. When you consistently assume something to be true, when you live in the feeling of already having what you desire, reality reshapes itself to match your inner state. It must, because consciousness is the only creative power, and what you persistently imagine, you inevitably experience. Let me share how this works in practice. Suppose you desire better health. The natural tendency is to focus on the problem, on what's wrong, on the healing process, on all the steps you think you need to take. But this keeps you mentally dwelling in the state of being unwell. Instead, imagine the end result. Picture a friend remarking how vibrant you look. Feel their genuine surprise at your transformation. Hear yourself responding with confidence about how wonderful you feel. Make this scene so real in your imagination that you can feel the emotions you would actually experience if this conversation were happening right now. This isn't positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is you operating the creative mechanism of consciousness itself. You're not trying to change the outer world directly. You're changing your inner state, and the outer world must conform to match it. The same principle applies to any desire. Want a better relationship? Don't imagine finding someone. Imagine already being in the loving relationship you desire. Want career advancement? Don't focus on the competition or the obstacles. Imagine colleagues congratulating you on your promotion. Want financial freedom? Don't worry about the how. Imagine the peace and security of already having what you need. Let me tell you about someone who proved this principle in a dramatic way. This person desired to own a particular building in their city, but had no money for such a venture. Every day for 2 years, as they walked past that building, they would imagine seeing their family name on the marquee, not hoping for it, not planning how to get it, simply assuming it was already true. They would feel the pride of ownership, the satisfaction of success, the reality of their vision, as if it had already come to pass. They lived in that state consistently, day after day, until it felt more real than their current circumstances. One day, a complete stranger approached them with an extraordinary offer. This man, whom they had never met, proposed to purchase the building on their behalf, requiring only their signature and a promise to repay at modest interest over 10 years. No money down, no collateral required, just their commitment to the vision they had been holding. That business venture grew into a multi-million-dollar enterprise that eventually expanded across multiple locations. When the building was finally sold decades later, it brought nearly 20 times the original purchase price. The stranger who made it all possible became a lifelong friend, and upon his death left substantial wealth to the family as a gesture of appreciation for their integrity. This stranger appeared at exactly the right moment because consciousness had arranged all the necessary circumstances. When you change your inner state, the outer world must provide the bridge of incidents to make your assumption into fact. The person didn't attract this opportunity through networking or business acumen. They created it through sustained imaginative assumption. This creative power operates through what I call living in the end. Instead of focusing on how your desire might come about, you jump to the final result and make that your dwelling place in consciousness. You assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that assumption until it becomes your natural state. Think about this. If you truly believed you already possessed what you desire, how would you feel right now? How would you move through your day? What kind of confidence would you have? What conversations would you be having with yourself and others? This is the state you want to cultivate and maintain. The challenge is that your current circumstances will seem to contradict your assumption. Your senses will tell you nothing has changed. Your rational mind will argue against the reality of your vision. But this is where faith becomes practical. Not blind faith, but intelligent persistence in a principle you can test and verify through experience. This principle extends far beyond personal desires. You can use this creative power on behalf of others without their knowledge or permission. See your unemployed friend gainfully employed. Imagine your struggling neighbor prospering. Feel the reality of their success as clearly as you would your own. I once knew someone whose colleague was about to be fired for poor performance. Instead of offering advice or trying to intervene directly, he simply began imagining this person being praised by their superiors for excellent work. He would sit at his desk and clearly hear the management team discussing this colleague's valuable contributions. Within days, the situation completely reversed. The person who was about to be terminated was suddenly being commended for innovative ideas and exceptional performance. The shift was so dramatic that the colleague himself was amazed, though he never knew about the imaginative work being done on his behalf. When you truly understand that consciousness is the only creative power in the universe, you realize that everyone you encounter is connected to your own creative capacity. Helping others rise is helping yourself rise, because at the deepest level there is only one consciousness appearing as many. With this understanding comes tremendous responsibility. You are constantly imagining, constantly creating through your assumptions about yourself and others. The question isn't whether you're using this power, you're always using it. The question is whether you're using it consciously and constructively. If you spend your days assuming limitation, lack, and problems, you're creating more of the same. If you read the news and dwell on all the negative possibilities, you're feeding your consciousness with exactly what you don't want to experience. If you assume abundance, possibility, and solutions, you create those instead. Your outer world is always a perfect reflection of your inner assumptions. Most people create unconsciously, reacting to circumstances rather than creating them. They imagine what they fear more vividly than what they desire. They assume their limitations are permanent and their problems are insurmountable. Then they wonder why their circumstances never improve. But once you understand this principle, you can begin creating deliberately. You can choose what to imagine. You can select which assumptions to maintain. You can decide what kind of inner state to cultivate, knowing that your outer world will inevitably conform to match it. The technique is elegantly simple. Each night before sleep, when your conscious mind is naturally relaxed and receptive, construct a brief scene that would naturally occur if your desire were already fulfilled. Make it simple, make it specific, and make it feel completely real. If you desire marriage, imagine wearing a wedding ring and feeling its weight on your finger as your beloved placed it there. If you want career success, imagine a colleague congratulating you on your achievement. If you seek healing, imagine your doctor expressing amazement at your recovery. The key is to feel the reality of the scene, not just visualize it. Feel the emotions you would genuinely experience. Engage all your senses. Make it so vivid that for those moments, it feels more real than your current circumstances. Then sleep in that state. Let that feeling be the last thing in your consciousness as you drift off. Your subconscious mind will work throughout the night to arrange the circumstances necessary to make your assumption into fact. People often say, I tried imagining and nothing happened. But when I investigate, I find they imagined once or twice, and then returned to their old patterns of thought. They imagined what they wanted while continuing to assume what they didn't want. Consistency is crucial. You must persist in your new assumption until it becomes natural to you. This might take days, weeks, or even months, depending on how deeply rooted your old beliefs are. But if you remain faithful to your vision, it must manifest, because consciousness is the only creative power. Another common mistake is trying to figure out how the desire will be fulfilled. Your job isn't to create the path. Your job is to maintain the state. Consciousness will provide the bridge of incidents, the series of events that will lead to the manifestation of your assumption. Your task is simply to remain faithful to the end result. As you practice this principle, you'll begin to understand something profound about the nature of reality itself. What we call the physical world is actually consciousness made visible. Every person, every object, every circumstance is consciousness in expression. This means that when you change your state of consciousness, you're not trying to manipulate an external world, you're literally changing the fundamental substance of which your experience is made. Reality isn't fixed and independent of you, it's fluid and responsive to your imaginative assumptions. This is why the ancient teachings speak of God becoming human, not as a historical event but as an ongoing truth about the nature of consciousness itself. The creative power of the universe operates through human imagination, and when you consciously align with this power, you become a co-creator of reality. Don't think of yourself as a limited being, hoping for divine favor. Recognize yourself as divine consciousness, individualized. You don't need to earn the right to create your experience. It's your natural birthright. You don't need permission from others to assume the state you desire. You need only your own decision. This isn't arrogance or delusion. It's recognition of what you truly are. Every person carries the same creative power, though most remain unconscious of it. When you awaken to your true nature and begin operating consciously as a creator, you're not claiming superiority over others. You're simply remembering what everyone is capable of when they understand their true identity. Tonight, I challenge you to test this principle. Decide what you truly want to experience in your life. Create a simple scene that implies its fulfillment. Feel the reality of that scene with all the sensory vividness you can muster. Then persist in that assumption, regardless of what your current circumstances seem to suggest. Don't be discouraged if change doesn't happen immediately. The greater the change you're assuming, the more time it may take for reality to reorganize itself around your new state. But if you remain faithful to your vision, if you truly live in the end, your assumption will harden into fact. Remember, you are not a victim of fate or circumstance. You are the operant power of consciousness itself. Use this power wisely. Use it lovingly and discover for yourself the truth that has been hidden in plain sight. Within you lies the creative force that spoke the universe into existence. The invitation stands before you. Will you continue creating unconsciously through worry and limitation, or will you begin creating consciously through imagination and assumption? The choice, as always, is yours to make. Thank you for your attention tonight. Go forth and create consciously. Thanks for watching Best of Lectures. Hope this gave you something to think about. If you enjoyed it, hit subscribe for more lectures on consciousness, potential, and life's deeper questions. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. I love hearing from you. Please subscribe for more transformative content, and I'll see you in the next video. The world is a reflection of what we assume to be true, whether conscious or unconscious. Every belief, no matter how small, contributes to the creation of the life we experience. Our assumptions, when held with intensity, attract the corresponding conditions into our lives. This process is not some mystical force, but a fundamental law that governs the universe. By mastering our assumptions, we can deliberately shape our destiny. This principle is simple yet profound. What we think about consistently is what we bring into existence. Our world responds to our inner reality, and by altering our thoughts, we alter the course of our lives. This law operates at all times, whether we are aware of it or not. It is not about what we want, but what we believe to be true. In this process, imagination plays a crucial role. Imagination is not just a fantasy. It is the key to unlocking our desired future. When we vividly imagine our desires as already fulfilled, we send a powerful signal to the universe. This signal aligns with the energy needed to manifest the outcome. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined, making this an incredibly potent tool. When we saturate our minds with the image of our ideal reality, it starts to become our dominant thought. Our dominant thoughts shape our emotions, which then influence our actions. By focusing on what we wish to manifest, we begin to attract circumstances that reflect those desires. The more we dwell on positive assumptions, the quicker they materialize. This is not a mere exercise in wishful thinking. It is an active creative force. Our inner state becomes the blueprint for the outer world. One of the most powerful tools in this practice is the art of assumption. Assumption means to take for granted that the thing we desire is already ours. We must embody the feeling of having already received our desires as though they are already a reality. This assumption creates a magnetic pull that attracts circumstances and opportunities that align with that state of being. When we assume our desires are already fulfilled, we enter into resonance with them. This resonance acts as a vibrational match that attracts experiences of the same frequency. Assumption eliminates doubt and opens the door to infinite possibilities. It shifts the mind from a place of lack to one of abundance. The key is to persist in the assumption, even when external circumstances suggest otherwise. The moment we let go of doubt, the law begins to work in our favor. We must also understand the importance of feeling. Feeling is the bridge between the mind and the manifestation. Without the emotional charge, the assumption lacks the power to attract the desired outcome. The emotions you feel while assuming a desire to be already fulfilled are the energetic fuel for the manifestation process. These emotions are what draw the circumstances into your experience. It is not enough to think about your desire. You must feel it as if it is already true. When your feelings align with your assumptions, the process of manifestation accelerates. Feeling a sense of gratitude, joy, and satisfaction as though your desire is already in your life will draw it nearer. The stronger the emotion, the more powerful the assumption becomes. This creates a dynamic feedback loop where the feelings reinforce the thoughts and the thoughts fuel the emotions. The law of attraction responds to the vibration of your thoughts and feelings, and it is always working regardless of your awareness. This universal law is not selective. It does not judge whether your thoughts are good or bad, positive or negative. It simply responds to your vibrational state. If you consistently focus on lack, you attract more lack. If you focus on abundance, you will draw more abundance into your life. It is not about hoping or wishing for something to change. It is about embodying the state of being you desire. When you believe that you are already abundant, the universe reflects this belief back to you. The law is neutral. It simply brings into your life that which matches your internal state. Patience is key when applying these principles. Often we expect instant results, but the universe operates on its own timeline. The energy you put out today may take time to manifest in the physical world. However, this does not mean that progress is not occurring. Every thought, every assumption, every feeling contributes to the unfolding of your desires. Even when you cannot see immediate results, trust that the process is in motion. The more you persist in your assumptions, the more you align with the reality you wish to create. Trust in the law and know that everything is unfolding according to the perfect timing for you. It is essential to let go of resistance. Resistance comes in many forms, such as doubt, fear, or impatience. These negative emotions block the flow of energy and slow down the manifestation process. When you resist what is, you are not in alignment with your desired outcome. Accepting the present moment without judgment is crucial to attracting what you desire. Trust that the universe is working on your behalf, even when you cannot see the results immediately. Releasing resistance allows your desires to flow naturally towards you. The key is to align your energy with the outcome rather than struggle against it. One of the most transformative practices is to live in the end result. This means imagining and feeling that you have already achieved your desires, rather than focusing on the journey. The end result is the state of mind that attracts all that you want. By living in this end result, you align yourself with the reality you wish to create. This practice is a powerful way to shift your mindset and align your actions with your goals. Instead of waiting for circumstances to change, live as though they have already changed. This shift in perspective creates a ripple effect that transforms your reality. Another crucial element is self-belief. If you do not believe that what you desire is possible, you will not be able to manifest it. Belief is the foundation upon which everything else is built. When you fully believe in your own power to create, you align with the energy necessary to manifest your desires. Doubt is the enemy of manifestation, as it introduces a conflicting energy that repels your desires. On the other hand, absolute faith in your ability to create allows you to move with certainty and confidence. Belief in yourself is not just about having a positive attitude, but about understanding the innate power within you to shape your world. It is also important to remember that the law of attraction works on a subconscious level. Often, our deepest beliefs are hidden beneath the surface of our conscious mind. These subconscious beliefs can either support or hinder our manifestation efforts. It is vital to become aware of any limiting beliefs that may be operating behind the scenes. Once you identify these beliefs, you can consciously work to replace them with more empowering assumptions. Changing your beliefs at the subconscious level requires consistent effort and repetition. Over time, these new beliefs will become the driving force behind your manifestations. The process of creation is ongoing and ever-evolving. As you continue to refine your assumptions and align with your desires, you are constantly shaping your future. Each moment offers the opportunity to shift your thoughts and feelings in the direction of your dreams. The universe is always responding to your vibration, and with every thought, you are sending out a signal. This signal is what attracts the circumstances and events that shape your life. By consciously directing your energy, you can guide your life toward your desired outcomes. The power of focus cannot be overstated. Where your attention goes, energy flows. By focusing on what you want rather than what you do not want, you magnetize those things into your life. The more you focus on your desires, the more they expand. On the other hand, focusing on problems or lack only serves to perpetuate them. Focus is a tool that allows you to direct the flow of energy toward your goals. It is not about ignoring challenges, but choosing to place your energy on solutions. By keeping your attention fixed on your desired outcome, you create a mental and emotional environment that supports the manifestation process. It is also helpful to maintain a state of gratitude throughout the process. Gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions you can experience. When you are grateful for what you already have, you signal to the universe that you are ready to receive more. Gratitude shifts your vibration from lack to abundance, attracting more things to be thankful for. When you live in a state of gratitude, you align yourself with the frequency of receiving. This emotional state amplifies your assumptions and accelerates the manifestation process. Living in harmony with the natural rhythms of life also contributes to successful manifestation. Nature operates on cycles, and by aligning with these cycles, we can more effectively create our desired reality. The ebb and flow of life are a reflection of the ebb and flow of energy within us. Understanding that there are times for action and times for rest can help you avoid burnout and frustration. Trust the process and allow things to unfold in their own time. Another important aspect is to take inspired action. Manifestation is not a passive process. It requires you to take steps toward your desires. These actions do not need to be forceful or strenuous. Instead, they should feel natural and in alignment with your assumptions. When you are living in the assumption that your desires are already fulfilled, you will be guided to take inspired action. This action will feel effortless and aligned with the flow of your desires. Trust that the universe will guide you to the right opportunities, people, and experiences that will bring you closer to your goals. The more you practice these principles, the more natural they will become. Over time, you will develop a deep sense of knowing that you are the creator of your reality. The process of manifestation will become second nature, and you will be able to manifest your desires with ease. This is not about forcing things to happen. It is about trusting in your ability to align with the energy of creation. As you continue to practice and refine these principles, you will begin to see your desires materialize more quickly and effortlessly. Trust is a fundamental element in this process. Trusting the universe, the process, and yourself is crucial to successful manifestation. When you trust, you let go of the need for control and allow things to unfold in their own time. Trusting that everything is happening for your highest good helps you maintain a positive, focused mindset. This trust is what allows the universe to work on your behalf, bringing you the opportunities and experiences that align with your desires. Your internal dialogue plays a significant role in the manifestation process. The words you speak to yourself shape your beliefs and your reality. If your internal dialogue is filled with negativity, doubt, or fear, These thoughts will manifest in your life. On the other hand, a positive, affirming internal dialogue reinforces your assumptions and accelerates the manifestation process. Speak to yourself as if your desires have already been fulfilled, and your reality will reflect this new belief. This simple shift in language can have a profound impact on the outcome of your desires. It is important to focus on the end result rather than the steps to get there. The how is not your concern. The universe has its own way of bringing about the desired outcome, and often it is beyond your imagination. By focusing on the end result, you align yourself with the energy of that outcome, which then draws the necessary circumstances into your life. Trust that the universe knows how to deliver what you want in the most efficient way possible. Let go of any attachment to the process and focus solely on the end result. The law of attraction works at all times, not just when we are consciously thinking about our desires. Our subconscious mind is constantly at work, drawing experiences into our lives based on our deep-seated beliefs. By shifting these subconscious beliefs, we can change the course of our lives. This is why it is important to be mindful of our thoughts and assumptions at all times. The more we focus on what we desire, and the more we embody the feeling of having it, the more we will attract it into our lives. A key to successful manifestation is to practice consistency. Like any skill, manifestation requires practice and consistency. The more you consistently focus on your desires, the more natural it becomes to assume that they are already true. The more you feel the emotions of having your desires fulfilled, the more powerfully you attract them into your life. Consistency creates momentum, and with momentum comes the rapid manifestation of your desires. Whether you are visualizing, affirming, or simply living in the assumption, consistency is essential to success. It is essential to release attachment to the outcome. When you are overly attached to how and when your desires will manifest, you create resistance. This resistance blocks the flow of energy and slows down the manifestation process. Detach from the outcome and trust that it will come to you in the right way and at the right time. The more you let go of attachment, the more freely the universe can deliver your desires. This is about trusting the process and having faith that everything is unfolding for your highest good. The law of attraction is always in motion. It does not wait for the right circumstances, nor does it hesitate based on external appearances. It is constantly responding to your thoughts and feelings, bringing you experiences that match your dominant assumptions. If you focus on love, abundance, and success, the universe will deliver those things to you. If you focus on fear, lack, and limitation, the universe will deliver more of those experiences. The key is to consistently focus on what you want rather than what you do not want. Every thought carries energy, and this energy attracts like energy. Your thoughts, whether positive or negative, send out a vibration into the universe that attracts experiences of the same frequency. The more positive and aligned your thoughts are with your desires, the more quickly they will manifest. The more negative and contradictory your thoughts are, the more you will attract experiences that match that energy. By controlling your thoughts and aligning them with what you desire, you can begin to shape your reality. Living in alignment with your desires requires you to embody the feelings of having already achieved them. This is the essence of living in the end. When you can feel the joy, satisfaction, and fulfillment of having your desires now, you are in the most powerful state for manifestation. Your feelings are the key to creating the life you want. By consistently living in the end result, you attract all the circumstances, people, and opportunities that align with your desires. The process of manifestation requires a deep level of trust in the unseen. You may not always be able to see the changes occurring on a physical level, but know that the universe is working behind the scenes. Every thought, feeling, and assumption you have is contributing to the unfolding of your desires. Trust that the law is always working, even when you cannot see it. Believe in the unseen forces at work, and know that everything is aligning perfectly for your benefit. The law of attraction is not a passive force. It requires you to actively engage with it. It requires you to focus on your desires, feel them as if they are already true, and assume that they are on their way. By doing so, you become a magnet for your desires. The more you embody these principles, the more you will see the world around you shift in response. Remember that you are the creator of your reality, and the law of attraction is always working in your favor when you align your thoughts, feelings, and assumptions with your desires. If this content made sense to you, don't keep this knowledge to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Help others see that they too have the power to transform their financial reality. And remember, this is just the beginning. Subscribe to the channel to continue receiving content like this, which will help you grow, evolve, and achieve the life you deserve. Leave your comment below, telling us how you plan to put this into practice, and let's build a community focused on prosperity and transformation together.
Have you ever wondered if your thoughts are secretly shaping your reality, and that they might be the most powerful tool you have? What if every fleeting idea, every hidden belief, is already building your future, moment by moment? Tonight, we get to take that power back. I'm going to show you how to turn your thoughts into your greatest ally, so you can create the life you actually want, on purpose and at full power. We've all heard the phrase mind over matter, but what if I told you this isn't just a motivational saying? It's actually the very heart of what we call the law of attraction. Tonight, we're going to explore the extraordinary power you have to manifest your dreams through the deliberate direction of your thoughts. Yes, it really can be that simple. You see, harnessing the power of your own thoughts may very well be the key to realizing your wildest aspirations. You're not just a passive observer of your life's circumstances. You're the active architect of your experience. And every single thought you entertain serves as a blueprint for what's to come. So I invite you to open your minds as we embark on this fascinating journey into the world of manifestation, where your thoughts are truly about to become your reality. In the realm of personal development, you will find that your thoughts have an impressive power to shape your reality. You are not just a passive recipient of circumstances, you are the active creator. Every thought you entertain is a seed that can grow into a reality. It's up to you to cultivate positive, empowering thoughts and weed out the negative ones. Imagine your thoughts as invisible architects designing your future. They are not just idle musings, they have real, tangible consequences. You might not see the immediate effects, but rest assured, they are at work. Every thought you hold, every belief you harbor, serves as a blueprint for your life. You have heard the saying, you are what you eat. Now consider this, you are what you think. Your thoughts are the raw material from which your life is crafted. And you, my friend, are the master craftsman. You hold the chisel and the hammer. You have the power to sculpt your life into a masterpiece of your choosing. Don't underestimate the power of your thoughts. They are your most potent tool for personal growth and transformation. Harness them, direct them towards your dreams, and watch as they become your reality. You have got a powerful tool at your disposal, and it's time to understand how to use it. The theory of manifestation is all about turning your thoughts into tangible realities. Think of your mind as a magnet, attracting circumstances, people, and resources that align with your thoughts. Believe it or not, you are creating your reality every moment with every thought. You are like a sculptor, shaping the clay of your life with the chisel of your mind. You see, the universe operates on energy and vibrations. Your thoughts are energy, your feelings are vibrations, and together they act as a signal to the universe. Send out positive, hopeful signals, and you will attract positive, hopeful experiences. It's as simple as that. But how, you might ask, how do I manifest my desires? It starts with clarity. Be clear on what you want. Visualize it, feel it, and then release it to the universe. Trust that it will come to fruition. Next, be consistent. Your thoughts should align with your desires, not contradict them. If you desire wealth but constantly worry about lack, you are sending mixed signals. So focus on abundance instead. Finally, take action. Manifestation isn't about sitting around and waiting. It's about doing, moving, living in alignment with your desires. You have got this. You can manifest your dreams. Remember, you are not at the mercy of circumstances, you are the creator of them. So go ahead. Shape your world with your thoughts. Manifest your destiny, one thought at a time. Now let's delve into the basics of the law of attraction, a principle that's deeply intertwined with the role of manifestation. At its core, the law of attraction states that like attracts like. Put simply, your thoughts and feelings shape your reality. You are a magnet, attracting the experiences, people, and outcomes that align with your thoughts and emotions. Think of your mind as a garden. The seeds you plant, nurture, and cultivate grow into the realities of your life. If you consistently plant seeds of positivity, you will reap a life filled with joy, success, and abundance. On the other hand, if you let weeds of negativity take over, you will find yourself in a cycle of lack and disappointment. Don't underestimate the power of your thoughts and emotions. They are your tools for creation. You have the capacity to mold your reality like clay in your hands. The key is to focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. Remember, the law doesn't discern between good and bad. It simply matches your energy. Project positivity, gratitude, and optimism, and you will attract the same. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a principle of the universe, a law as real and unwavering as gravity. It's an empowering truth that you have control over your life. Believe in the law of attraction, harness its power, and you will see incredible changes. You are not just a passive observer in your life. You are an active participant, shaping your destiny with every thought and feeling. So start now. Think positive, feel positive, and watch as your world transforms. While understanding the law of attraction is crucial, it's equally important to recognize the role positivity plays in manifestation. You see, the universe is like a giant mirror reflecting back to you what you put out there. If you exude positivity, you will attract positive outcomes. Like a magnet, your positive thoughts, feelings, and actions pull in positivity from the universe. However, maintaining a positive mindset isn't always easy, is it? Life throws curveballs, and it's tempting to let negativity seep in. But remember that you are in control. You have the power to change your thoughts, and consequently your reality. Every time you catch yourself dwelling on the negatives, flip the script. Replace those negative thoughts with positive ones. Visualize your dreams as if they are already happening. Feel the joy, the pride, the success. Bask in that positivity. Let it fill you up and watch as it manifests into your reality. Positivity is more than just a mindset, it's a lifestyle. It's about being grateful for what you have while striving for what you want. It's about finding the silver lining in every situation. It's about believing in your ability to manifest your dreams. Let's dive into the fascinating world of neuroscience that backs up the power of positive thinking. Believe it or not, your thoughts have a significant impact on your brain structure and function. When you engage in positive thinking, you are actually fostering changes in your brain that can improve your health, happiness, and overall well-being. You see, your brain isn't a static organ, but a dynamic one constantly changing and adapting. This concept, known as neuroplasticity, is the key to understanding the power of your thoughts. When you think happy ideas on a regular basis, you are developing new neural connections and reinforcing old ones. This can enhance your cognitive abilities, boost your mood, and even help protect against mental health disorders. Furthermore, positive thinking helps trigger the release of feel-good neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. These chemicals not only make you feel happier, but also contribute to a host of beneficial effects, such as better sleep, improved focus, and reduced stress levels. You are essentially training your brain to be more positive, and the more you practice, the better you will get. It's like building a muscle. The more you work out, the stronger it becomes. So don't underestimate the power of positive thinking. It's scientifically proven to change your brain for the better. In a nutshell, your thoughts have the power to shape your reality. So why not make it a positive one? Embrace positive thinking and watch as it transforms not only your mind, but your life as well. You might have several misconceptions about manifestation, and it's important to address them to fully leverage this powerful tool. You may think it's all about wishful thinking, or that it's a quick path to easy riches, but that's not the case. Manifestation is a process that requires focus, clarity, and a deep understanding of your desires. Think of it as a journey, not a race. It is not about immediately attaining what you want, but about connecting your thoughts and actions with your desires. This process takes time, effort, and patience. But don't be disheartened. The results are worth the wait. Another common misconception is that negative thoughts will destroy your chances of successful manifestation. But it's not about never having negative thoughts, it's about acknowledging them, understanding where they are coming from, and then consciously shifting your focus to positivity. Remember, it's okay to stumble. It's okay to have doubts. What's important is that you don't dwell there. Lastly, manifestation isn't a magic trick. It's a practice. It's a process of aligning your thoughts, your actions, and your energy with your desired outcome. It's about taking responsibility for your life and creating what you want. Shifting your focus to the present moment, practicing mindful thinking can offer you tremendous benefits and enhance your manifestation process. You are not just developing a habit, you are cultivating a superpower. This sense of mindfulness empowers you to control your thoughts and emotions, rather than allowing them to control you. Imagine a life where you are less reactive to stress and more tuned into the joy and happiness of the present. That's what mindful thinking can do for you. It can reduce anxiety and depression, improve your concentration and memory, and even enhance your physical health. It's not magic, it's science. But it's not just about the personal benefits. Embracing mindful thinking can bring positivity into your interactions with others. You will find yourself listening more, judging less, and experiencing deeper, more meaningful connections. Now let's talk about manifestation. Mindful thinking can supercharge your manifestation process. By becoming fully aware of your thoughts, you can direct them towards your desires with precision and clarity. The universe responds to clear, focused thought. So imagine the power you hold when you are in full control of your mind. Don't underestimate the power of mindful thinking. It's a tool, a weapon, a shield, and a guide all in one. It's time to tap into this power, to embrace the present, and to become the architect of your destiny. So what are you waiting for? Start practicing mindful thinking today. Experience the power, the peace, and the potential it holds. You've got this. Harnessing the power of mindful thinking. Let's now delve into the specific steps you need to take for effective manifestation. Trust me, it isn't as daunting as it may seem. Firstly, you need to get clear on precisely what you want. This isn't just about wishing vaguely for more money or happiness. Be specific. Decide on the exact amount or the specific sources of joy. The more precise you are, the more your energy can align with your desire. Secondly, ask the universe for what you want. You are not merely wishing on a star here. You are actively expressing your desires to the universe in a mindful, intentional way. This can be done through visualization, affirmations, or even writing it down. Next, trust the process. It's easy to get caught up in doubts and fears, but it's vital that you trust in the universe's ability to deliver. Remember, your thoughts are potent. They are the seeds you are sowing for your future. Lastly, be open to receiving. When the universe begins to respond, don't shrug it off as coincidence. Embrace it, thank the universe for it. This step is crucial in sustaining the manifestation process. So there you have it, your roadmap to effective manifestation. It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to magically appear. It's about taking control, setting clear intentions, and trusting in the power of your thoughts. You are more powerful than you realize. The power of affirmations plays an instrumental role in the law of attraction, acting as a conduit for your thoughts and desires to reach the universe. These powerful statements or beliefs you tell yourself can shape your reality, bring about change, and attract what you want in life. Think of it this way. Your mind is a broadcasting station, sending out vibrations to the universe. When you consciously choose positive affirmations, you are tuning your station to a frequency that attracts positive outcomes. You are telling the universe exactly what you want, and it's listening. Consider the most successful people you know. They didn't just sit around waiting for success to happen. They affirmed their dreams, their ambitions, their goals. They believed in their potential, even when faced with setbacks. They knew the power of a positive mindset, and they harnessed it through affirmations. But here's the key. You can't just say your affirmations. You have to believe them. You have to live them. That's the real power behind affirmations. They are not just words. They are your beliefs, your truth, and your future. When you embrace this power, you become a magnet for what you desire. So start today. Craft your affirmations, believe in them, live them. You will find that the universe responds in kind, bringing you closer to your dreams. On the flip side, if you let negative thoughts creep in, they can pull you away from your desired path and manifest unwanted outcomes in your life. Just like a small pebble can create a ripple effect in a pond, one negative thought can impact your entire day, week, or even your life. But you are stronger than that. You can change your thoughts and in turn, change your life. Negative thoughts are powerful, but so are you. You have the ability to control your thoughts and hence your destiny. It's not always easy, but it's entirely possible. Negative thoughts can make you feel stuck, but remember, you are not a tree. You can change your thinking and shift your focus from the negative to the positive. When you dwell on negative thoughts, you are actually giving them power to dictate your actions. But what if you divert that energy towards positive thinking? You will not only feel happier, but you will also find yourself attracting more positivity into your life. It's a simple equation. The more you focus on the negative, the more negativity you attract. The more you focus on the positive, the more positivity you attract. In spite of your doubts and fears, you can conquer them and effectively transform your life. It's all about mindset. Recognize that these aren't concrete obstacles, but mental blocks that you have built up over time. They are not a part of you, but rather something you have the power to change. You must first acknowledge your fears, as this is the first step towards overcoming them. Don't push them away or ignore them. Confront them head on. Look them in the eye and say, I see you, and I will change you. Use them as fuel to propel you forward, not as an anchor holding you back. Understand that doubt is natural. It's your mind's way of questioning, of seeking answers. Don't see it as a negative, but rather an opportunity for growth. Remember, every question is a chance to learn something new. Next, turn to action. Don't allow fear to paralyze you, but make it motivate you. Begin with baby steps and gradually increase your confidence. You will soon realize that the fear of the unknown was just that, unknown. Once you dive in, you will find that you are stronger and more capable than you ever imagined. Finally, practice self-affirmation. Remind yourself of your strengths, your achievements, and your potential. You are capable, you are strong, and you can conquer your fears. Now that you are equipped to overcome doubts and fears, let's move on to the power of visualization. After all, seeing is indeed believing. While you are overcoming your doubts and fears, it's crucial you start visualizing your success. Because when you clearly picture your goals, you are more likely to achieve them. Visualization isn't just daydreaming. It's a powerful tool that can propel you towards your goals. You have got to see it to believe it. And even more importantly, you have got to believe it to see it. Imagine that you are a painter. The canvas is your life, and you are holding the brush. Each stroke represents your thoughts, your actions, your beliefs. If you paint a picture of success, of achievement, of overcoming obstacles, that's what you are likely to get. It's as simple as that. You see, the power of visualization lies in its ability to influence your mindset. It's a technique that can fuel your motivation, boost your confidence, and improve your focus. Every day, take a moment to close your eyes, breathe deeply, and picture your success. Visualize every detail, every step you need to take, every milestone you need to reach. Feel the joy of your achievement, and let it fill you with determination. Just as you frequently use visualization to shape your thoughts, it's equally important to incorporate mindfulness techniques into your routine to better understand and control your mind. Mindfulness, at its simplest, is the ability to be fully present, aware of where you are and what you are doing, and not overly reactive to what's going on around you. It's a skill that can be honed, and it starts by learning a few key techniques. Start by setting aside some time each day for mindfulness. Even just 5 minutes can make a significant difference. Close your eyes and concentrate on your breathing. Take note of the sensations of air entering and leaving your body. If your thoughts wander, gently bring them back to your breath. Next, try mindful eating. Savor each bite, taking note of the flavors and sensations. This not only enhances your enjoyment of the meal, but also encourages healthier eating habits. Lastly, practice mindful listening. When someone is speaking to you, pay full attention to them, pushing aside any internal or external distractions. This improves relationships and reduces misunderstanding. Remember, mindfulness isn't about achieving a state of eternal calm or emptiness. It's about being fully engaged in each moment. It's about learning to accept your thoughts, feelings, and the world around you just as they are. When you master these techniques, you are not only more in control of your thoughts, but also better equipped to create a positive mindset. With a positive mindset, you will find that achieving your goals isn't just possible, it's probable. Your thoughts are more powerful than you realize. They shape your reality, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you believe you can do something, you are more likely to put in the effort required to make it happen. Instead of doubting yourself, visualize your success. See yourself standing at the finish line, basking in the glory of your achievement. Feel the thrill of accomplishment. Hear the applause of your peers. Embrace this vision as your reality. It doesn't matter if, but when. Remember, there's no try in the language of success. You either do or you don't. So let's remove try from your vocabulary. Replace it with will. You will achieve your goals. You will succeed. Speak these words to yourself and believe them. Positivity isn't just a state of mind. It's a habit. Practice it daily. Start each day with a positive affirmation. Remind yourself of your strengths. Recognize your progress. Celebrate your small victories. They add up to big ones. Positive thinking isn't about ignoring life's challenges. It's about overcoming them with a spirit of optimism. Sure, there will be obstacles, but they are not roadblocks. They are stepping stones. Each one takes you closer to your goal. Believe in your potential. Have faith in your abilities. Keep your eyes on the prize. With a positive mindset, achieving your goals isn't just possible, it's inevitable. You have got this. Now let's delve into the power of manifestation. Another crucial aspect of personal growth that goes hand in hand with positive thinking. Manifestation is the process of turning your thoughts, dreams, and desires into reality. It's not some magical trick, but a practical tool that can help you shape your future and reach your goals. Imagine the possibilities if you could turn your thoughts into tangible results. Sounds amazing, right? Now you might wonder, how does this work? It's simple. As I said earlier, your mind is a powerful tool. When you focus your thoughts on something you desire, you are sending a message to the universe. You are telling it what you want. This is the first step towards manifestation. You are setting an intention. But here's the thing. You can't just think about it. You have to believe in it. You need to live as if your dream is already a reality. This is where positive thinking comes in. It's a powerful ally in the process of manifestation. When you think positively, you are creating a vibrational match for your desires. You are aligning yourself with your goals. Finally, you must take action. Manifestation isn't about sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It's about taking proactive steps towards your goals. It's about growth, personal development, and most importantly, believing in yourself. Boost your confidence through positive affirmations. Those powerful tools of self-talk can significantly boost your confidence and aid in manifesting your dreams. They are not some new age mumbo-jumbo, but proven psychological strategies that help reshape your subconscious thoughts and behavior. You are a powerful, capable being, and these affirmations serve to remind you of that. Can you imagine Just by repeating positive, empowering phrases to yourself, you can break the cycle of negative self-talk. This isn't a fanciful idea, it's backed by science. By regularly practicing positive affirmations, you are rewiring your brain to believe in your abilities and value, and that's where the magic happens. Let's think about it this way. You are the captain of your ship, steering yourself through the vast ocean of life. There are storms and rough waters, but you have got the wheel and you are in control. Positive affirmations are your compass, guiding you towards self-belief and confidence. But remember, you have got to be consistent. You can't just say these affirmations once and expect change. You've got to make it a habit. Every morning, stand in front of your mirror, look yourself in the eyes, and tell yourself that you are capable, you are deserving, you are enough, because you are. In your journey towards self-improvement, understanding the psychology of belief systems can be a real game changer. Your belief systems, those intricate webs of knowledge and experiences that shape your understanding of the world, are powerful tools for personal growth. They are not just static, rigid structures. Instead, they are dynamic, adaptable, and entirely within your control. Think of your beliefs as mental maps guiding your actions. If you believe you are capable and deserving of success, you are more likely to behave in ways that lead to success. Conversely, if you believe you are destined for failure, your actions may reflect that. But here's the fantastic part. You can change your beliefs. You have got the power to rewrite those mental maps, to reshape your belief systems in ways that serve your growth. Start by challenging any limiting beliefs that hold you back. Ask yourself, is this belief really true? Does it serve my highest good? If not, it's time to let it go. Next, cultivate positive beliefs that empower you. Believe in your potential, your worth, your ability to achieve your dreams. Affirm these beliefs daily, reinforcing them until they are deeply embedded in your psyche. Almost every aspect of your life is influenced by your thoughts. So it's essential you understand how to create your reality with them. Each thought you have is a tiny spark of creation, a seed that can grow into something beautiful or something destructive, depending on the energy you feed it with. But don't be overwhelmed. Rather, embrace this power you have within you. Consider this, you are the artist, and your thoughts are the brushstrokes that color your world. Your mind is a powerful tool, and just like any other tool, it's all about how you use it. Thoughts filled with positivity, love, and aspiration create a reality that mirrors these emotions. On the contrary, thoughts ruled by fear, doubt, or anger often manifest a world that reflects the same. You are not a passive observer in your life. You are an active participant. You have the power to shape your reality, to mold it into something that reflects your deepest desires and highest aspirations. It's a process, and it takes time, patience, and commitment, but it's entirely within your grasp. So think positively. Believe in the seemingly impossible. Dream bigger, because your thoughts have power. They have purpose, and they have the potential to transform your life. Start today. Start now. Create your reality with your thoughts. It's in your hands, it's in your mind, and it's within your reach. So keep this in mind. Your mind is a garden, and your thoughts are the seeds. You can either cultivate flowers or weeds. Accept the power of positive thinking. Use the law of attraction and begin manifesting your desires. Believe in your potential, affirm your confidence, and witness the magic unfold. After all, the reality you experience is the one you create with your thoughts. What if I told you that your bank account right now has absolutely nothing to do with your ability to create massive wealth? What if I told you that someone living paycheck to paycheck could manifest $10,000 faster than a millionaire could manifest their next million? And what if I told you that everything you've been taught about money, work hard, save more, invest wisely, is actually keeping you trapped in financial struggle? Before we dive in, if you're ready to transform your relationship with money forever, comment below, I'm ready for unlimited wealth. Let the universe know you're serious about this transformation. I know that sounds crazy, but in the next few minutes, I'm going to completely shatter everything you think you know about wealth creation. And I'm going to show you the one invisible force that creates all money in your life. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some people seem to effortlessly attract money while others work themselves to death and stay broke. More importantly, you'll know exactly which side you want to be on. But first, let me share something that might shock you. Did you know that 80% of millionaires are first-generation wealthy? That means they didn't inherit their money, they created it from nothing. But here's what's even more shocking. Most of them don't credit their success to hard work, education, or even luck. When researchers interview self-made millionaires, the number one factor they credit for their wealth is what they call mindset, or thinking differently. They operated from a completely different consciousness around money. Let me start with a story that changed everything for me, and will probably change everything for you too. Two people, both 35 years old, both college graduates, both living in the same city with the same cost of living. Person A works 60 hours a week at their corporate job, has 3 side hustles running on weekends, follows every financial guru's advice religiously, budgets every single penny that comes in and goes out. They read investment books voraciously, attend wealth seminars religiously, track their expenses obsessively, and sacrifice their social life for financial goals. They do everything the experts tell them to do. Person B works part-time at a job they absolutely love, spends money freely on things that bring them joy and fulfillment, never worries about their finances, never checks their bank balance obsessively. They've never read a finance book or attended a wealth seminar in their life. They don't even have a budget. To most financial advisors, person B would be considered financially irresponsible. After 5 years, guess who has more money? If you guessed person A, the hard-working, disciplined, financially educated one, you'd be completely wrong. Person B not only has more money, they have 10 times more money. And here's the part that will blow your mind. Person B didn't inherit it, didn't win the lottery, didn't get lucky with crypto or stocks, didn't start with any advantages whatsoever. They came from the exact same middle-class background as person A. The only difference, and I mean the only difference, was what was happening in their consciousness around money. Person A was operating from what I call scarcity consciousness, the deep-seated belief that money is hard to get, that you have to work extremely hard for every dollar, that there's not enough to go around, that you have to sacrifice and struggle to be worthy of wealth, that rich people are either lucky or somehow morally compromised. Person B was operating from wealth consciousness, the absolute knowing that money flows easily and naturally to those who are aligned with it, that opportunities are everywhere waiting to be recognized by someone with the right awareness, that abundance is their natural birthright, that wealth is simply a reflection of their inner state of being, that money is a tool for good and they deserve to have plenty of it, and that consciousness difference created completely different financial realities. This is what I call the great money deception. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Your entire relationship with money will transform forever. But before we go deeper, let me address something you might be thinking right now. You might be saying, this sounds too good to be true. This sounds like positive thinking nonsense. I've tried affirmations and vision boards, and they didn't work. And you're absolutely right to be skeptical, because what I'm about to share with you isn't about positive thinking or affirmations or pretending your problems don't exist. This is about understanding the fundamental nature of reality itself and how consciousness literally creates physical experience. Quantum physics has proven that consciousness affects physical reality at the most fundamental level. The observer effect demonstrates that the act of observation actually changes what's being observed. At the quantum level, particles exist in all possible states simultaneously until consciousness collapses them into a specific reality. This isn't philosophy or metaphysics. This is hard science. And if consciousness can affect reality at the quantum level, why would we assume it doesn't affect something as mundane as money? Here's the lie that's been programmed into all of us since we were children, reinforced by our parents, who learned it from their parents, taught in our schools, promoted by our society, and especially perpetuated by the financial industry itself, because it keeps them in business. We've been told that money comes from external effort alone. Work harder, get more money. Work smarter, get more money. Get more education, more skills, more connections, more experience. Get more money. Save more, invest more, budget more, sacrifice more, hustle more. The entire financial world operates on this fundamental assumption that money is created through external action and external action alone. And look, I'm not saying those things don't matter at all. External action is important. But here's what nobody tells you. Here's the secret that the financial industry doesn't want you to know, because it would put them out of business. All of that external action is completely powerless without the right consciousness behind it. You can have the best financial strategy in the world, but if your consciousness is tuned to scarcity, that strategy will fail. You can work 80 hours a week, but if your inner state is one of lack and limitation, you'll stay broke no matter how hard you work. Think about it like this. And this analogy will change how you see everything. You have two people planting identical seeds. Same seeds, same size, same genetic potential for growth. One person plants their seeds in rich, fertile soil that's been prepared with organic nutrients, perfect drainage, optimal pH levels, ideal moisture content, and perfect conditions for growth. They've created an environment where those seeds can't help but flourish. The other person takes the exact same seeds and plants them in concrete, hard, impenetrable concrete that won't allow any growth whatsoever. They water them with the same care, give them the same amount of sunlight, tend to them with the same attention and dedication. Which seeds grow? Obviously, the ones in fertile soil. The external action, planting the seed, watering it, giving it sunlight, caring for it, was identical. But the environment, the foundation, the soil itself, determined whether those seeds would flourish or die before they even had a chance to sprout. Your consciousness is that soil. Your beliefs about money, your assumptions about wealth, your inner state around finances, your subconscious programming about what you deserve, your inherited beliefs from your family, your cultural conditioning about rich people. That's the environment where all your financial efforts either flourish or die before they even have a chance to grow. And here's where it gets really interesting. Here's where most people have their biggest breakthrough moment. Most people have been trying to grow money in concrete their entire lives, wondering why nothing's working, wondering why they can't get ahead no matter how hard they try, wondering why other people seem to have it so easy while they struggle for every dollar. They're focused entirely on the external actions, the seeds they're planting, the watering, the care, while completely ignoring the soil of their consciousness. But consciousness, that invisible inner environment, that's the true source of all wealth. And once you understand this, once this really clicks at a deep level, everything changes. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the conscious creator of your financial reality. So let me ask you something that might seem obvious at first, but I want you to really think about it, really contemplate it deeply. Where does money actually come from? Most people would immediately say work or business or investments or the stock market or real estate. But think deeper than that. Think about the fundamental source. Where do business ideas come from? Where do investment opportunities come from? Where do job opportunities come from? Where do the insights that lead to financial breakthroughs come from? Where do the innovations that create billion-dollar companies come from? They come from consciousness, from awareness, from your ability to recognize patterns that others miss, see possibilities that others overlook, and attract what already exists in the infinite field of potential. Every single dollar that has ever entered your life came to you through your consciousness first. You became aware of an opportunity that others didn't see. You recognized a possibility that others missed. You had an idea that others didn't have. You met the right person at the right time. You were in the right place when the opportunity presented itself. You had the insight that led to the breakthrough. And here's the key that changes everything. The money was always there, existing in the quantum field of infinite possibilities, waiting for someone with the right consciousness to recognize it and claim it. Think about this. Every business that exists today, every fortune that's been made, every financial opportunity that's ever manifested, all of these existed as possibilities long before someone made them real. The internet existed as a possibility long before it was invented. Amazon existed as a possibility long before Jeff Bezos started it in his garage. Your next financial breakthrough exists as a possibility right now, waiting for your consciousness to tune into it. Your consciousness is like a radio antenna that can tune into different frequencies of possibility. When your consciousness is tuned to scarcity, you literally cannot see the opportunities that are right in front of you. Your brain filters them out because they don't match your predominant frequency. When your consciousness is tuned to wealth, you become a magnet for financial opportunities. You start noticing things you never noticed before. You start attracting people and circumstances that create abundance. Let me give you a perfect example that will make this crystal clear. And this is a true story that one of my students shared with me. Sarah was struggling financially for 7 years straight. She was working 2 jobs, one as a waitress and one cleaning offices at night, barely making ends meet, stressed about money constantly, living paycheck to paycheck with no savings. She tried everything the financial experts recommend. She used budgeting apps. She tried multiple side hustles. She took on extra shifts. She even went back to school to get additional certifications. She read every money book she could find, attended every free wealth webinar, followed every piece of conventional financial advice. Nothing worked. In fact, things seemed to get worse the harder she tried. She was stuck in what I call the effort trap, the belief that more effort equals more results. But she was applying all that effort from scarcity consciousness, so she kept getting scarcity results. It's like trying to drive a car with the parking brake on. No matter how hard you press the gas pedal, you're not going to get very far. Then she learned what I'm teaching you right now. She stopped focusing on her current financial situation and started operating from wealth consciousness. Instead of making decisions from I can't afford it, she started making decisions from how can I afford it. Instead of thinking I'm broke, she started assuming I have access to unlimited wealth. Instead of worrying about money constantly, she started feeling grateful for the abundance that was already flowing to her, even if she couldn't see it yet. Instead of seeing herself as someone who struggles with money, she started seeing herself as someone who naturally attracts wealth. Within 3 months, her life completely transformed. First, her boss at the restaurant offered her a management position she didn't even apply for, along with a 40% salary increase and benefits. A week later, a customer she had served once months earlier approached her about a business partnership in the wellness industry that would essentially double her income working fewer hours. 2 weeks after that, her neighbor, who was a successful entrepreneur traveling abroad for 6 months, asked if she wanted to house sit their beautiful $2 million home rent-free while they were gone. A month later, she was walking through a parking lot and found a wallet with $300 cash inside and no identification. After following all the legal procedures and waiting the required time period, she was legally able to keep the money. But here's where it gets really interesting. 2 months after that, she had an idea for an online course teaching people her wellness routines. She had never created an online course before, had no technical skills, no marketing experience, no business background. But from her new consciousness of abundance, the idea felt natural and exciting rather than overwhelming and impossible. She launched that course and made $15,000 in her first month. Within a year, she had built a 6-figure business working from home, doing what she loved. Now, did Sarah suddenly become more qualified overnight? Did she suddenly develop new skills? Did she become more hardworking? Did she get lucky? Did the universe randomly decide to bless her? No. She became more conscious. She aligned her inner state with wealth, and wealth began flowing to her through channels she never could have planned, predicted, or forced. That's the power of consciousness in action. But here's what really blew her mind when she looked back on that transformation. All of those opportunities, the management position, the business partnership, the house-sitting arrangement, even the wallet, had been potential realities all along. The restaurant had been looking for a manager for months, but hadn't considered her because she was just a waitress. The customer had been thinking about starting a wellness business for years, but hadn't found the right partner. The neighbor had been stressed about leaving their house empty, but hadn't thought to ask her. The opportunities were always there, existing in the field of infinite possibility. But when Sarah was operating from scarcity consciousness, she was literally invisible to those opportunities, and they were invisible to her. Her consciousness wasn't tuned to the frequency where those possibilities could manifest. When she shifted to wealth consciousness, she became a vibrational match for those opportunities, and they flowed to her naturally. But here's what's really wild. Here's what will probably give you chills when you fully understand it. Your current financial reality is actually showing you exactly what's happening in your consciousness right now. It's like a perfect readout of your inner state around money. What I'm about to share will change how you see money forever. I call it the money mirror principle, and it's one of the most profound truths about wealth creation. Your external financial reality is a perfect mirror reflection of your internal financial consciousness. Not what you consciously want, not what you hope for, not what you tell yourself you desire, not what you post on social media that you want, but what you truly believe and assume to be true about money. At the deepest levels of your subconscious mind, your bank account, your income, your financial opportunities, your money problems, your relationship with wealth, all of it is reflecting back to you the exact consciousness you're broadcasting about money, most of which is happening below your conscious awareness. This is why you can't lie to the universe. You can't fake wealth consciousness. You can't pretend your way to abundance. The mirror of reality always shows you the truth of what's really going on inside your consciousness. If you're experiencing financial struggle, that's showing you that somewhere in your consciousness, you have beliefs that support struggle. If money flows easily to you, that's showing you that your consciousness is aligned with ease and flow. If you look in a physical mirror and see a frown, you don't try to change the mirror, right? You don't get angry at the mirror or try to convince it to show you a smile. You don't put makeup on the mirror or try to manipulate the reflection. You change your facial expression, and the mirror changes automatically and instantly to match your new expression. Same with money. If you want to change your financial reflection, you have to change your financial consciousness first. The external always follows the internal, never the other way around. This is why trying to create wealth through external action alone is like trying to change your reflection by manipulating the mirror. It doesn't work because you're working on the effect rather than the cause. When someone truly believes, not hopes, not wishes, not wants, but truly believes at a cellular, subconscious level, that money comes easily to them, their entire behavior shifts automatically, without effort. They notice opportunities that were always there but invisible to them before. They make different choices without even thinking about it consciously. They take different actions that feel natural and effortless, rather than forced and difficult. They attract different people into their lives. They have different conversations. They show up differently in the world. And those shifted behaviors create completely different results. When someone believes deep down that money is hard to get, that they have to struggle for every dollar, that they don't deserve wealth, that rich people are somehow bad or different, that there's not enough to go around, they unconsciously sabotage every opportunity that comes their way. They overlook possibilities that are right in front of them. They make fear-based decisions that keep them stuck in limitation. They attract people and circumstances that confirm their limiting beliefs. They engage in self-sabotaging behaviors without even realizing it. And they get fear-based, limited results that match their inner state. Let me give you another example that illustrates this perfectly. I had a student named Marcus who was making 6 figures in his corporate job, but was constantly stressed about money. Despite earning more than most people ever will, he never felt financially secure. He was always worried about losing his job, always anxious about unexpected expenses, always feeling like he didn't have enough. He had money coming in regularly, but it never felt like enough. As we worked together, we discovered that he had these deep unconscious beliefs that money was dangerous, that it corrupted people, that wealthy individuals were somehow morally inferior to poor people. He had absorbed these beliefs from his family, who always talked about evil rich people, and how money is the root of all evil, and how wealthy people got that way by taking advantage of others. Even though he consciously wanted more money and security, his subconscious was programmed to reject wealth and feel guilty about having it. So even though money came in regularly through his high-paying job, it always went out just as fast through what seemed like unavoidable circumstances. Unexpected medical expenses, major car repairs, family emergencies where he felt obligated to help, bad investment decisions that seemed smart at the time, friends who borrowed money and never paid it back, tax problems, you name it. His subconscious mind was literally rejecting the money because his deepest beliefs weren't aligned with having and keeping wealth. He was like a bucket with holes in the bottom. No matter how much water you pour in, it all leaks out. He could make more money, but until he fixed the holes in his consciousness, he would never be able to keep it or feel abundant. Once he identified and shifted those limiting beliefs about money, once he started seeing wealth as a tool for good, as a way to help others, and make a positive impact, as a natural expression of value creation rather than exploitation, everything changed. Not only did he stop the financial leaks and keep his money, he started attracting much more of it. He got promoted twice in 8 months to positions he never even knew existed in his company. He started a successful consulting business on the side that brought in an additional $50,000 in its first year. His investment portfolio began performing better than it ever had, even though he didn't change his investment strategy. He even won a $5,000 contest he entered on a whim. Same person, same skills, same effort level, same external circumstances, completely different consciousness, completely different results. But changing consciousness isn't about positive thinking or daily affirmations or vision boards, though those can be helpful tools when used correctly. It requires understanding something much more fundamental and powerful that most people never learn. This brings us to the law of assumption, the most powerful principle in money creation, and honestly, in all of reality creation. Most people have never heard of the law of assumption, even though it's operating in their lives every single day. They've heard of the law of attraction, but the law of assumption is far more powerful and far more practical. Here's the critical difference that changes everything, and pay close attention, because this could be the most important thing you ever learn about creating wealth. When you hope for money, when you wish for wealth, when you want financial abundance, you're actually affirming and reinforcing the fact that you don't currently have it. Hope implies lack. Wishing implies absence. Wanting means you're focused on what you don't have rather than what you do have. Every time you hope for money, you're unconsciously telling the universe, I don't have money, please give me some. And the universe responds by giving you more experiences of not having money. But when you assume wealth is yours, when you operate from the inner knowing that abundance is your natural state, when you make decisions as if you already have access to unlimited financial resources, you're claiming wealth as already true in your reality. You're not asking for it, you're not begging for it, you're not hoping for it. You're assuming it, you're embodying it, you're living from it. Let me give you a simple example that will make this crystal clear and show you how assumption works in everyday life. If I told you right now to hope that you're wearing clothes, that would be strange, right? You don't hope you're wearing clothes, you assume it, you know it. It's not even a question. You don't have to check. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to convince yourself or use affirmations to believe it. You simply assume that you're closed, and you operate from that assumption automatically and unconsciously. That assumption affects everything about how you show up in the world. You don't worry about being naked. You don't feel self-conscious about your nudity. You don't hope that people won't notice you're not wearing clothes. You simply operate from the assumption that you're appropriately dressed, and that assumption creates your entire experience of reality in that moment. That's exactly how you need to relate to money and wealth. Not as something you're desperately trying to get. Not as something that's outside of you that you need to chase or struggle for. Not as something you have to convince the universe to give you, but as something you already have natural, unlimited access to. It's a shift from I want money to I am wealthy. From I hope I can afford it to I can afford anything I truly desire. From money is hard to get to money flows to me easily and constantly. In the quantum field of infinite possibilities, and quantum physics has proven this scientifically through experiments like the double-slit experiment. There exists every possible version of reality simultaneously. There's a version where you're struggling financially, and there's also a version where you're incredibly wealthy. There's a timeline where you're worried about money, and there's a timeline where money is never a concern for you. There's a reality where you work hard for every dollar, and there's a reality where money comes to you effortlessly. All of these realities exist simultaneously in what physicists call the quantum field. When you assume the wealthy version as your true reality, when you embody that timeline with your thoughts, feelings, decisions, and actions, you begin collapsing that possibility into your physical experience. You start attracting the people, circumstances, opportunities, and resources that exist in that wealthy timeline. The difference between wanting money and being wealthy is the difference between lack consciousness and abundance consciousness. Wanting keeps you perpetually in a state of not having, being puts you in a state of already having. And the universe always gives you more of whatever state you're predominantly in. Think about it this way. If you want ice cream, that means you don't have ice cream. The wanting itself is an affirmation of lack. But if you're eating ice cream, you're not wanting it, you're having it, enjoying it, being satisfied by it. When you want money, you're in the frequency of not having money. When you assume you're wealthy, you're in the frequency of having wealth. And when you truly understand this, when this clicks at a deep level, you realize that there's an actual frequency to wealth itself. Let me introduce you to what I call the wealth frequency. And this concept alone could transform your entire financial reality forever. Everything in existence operates at different vibrational frequencies. This isn't mystical nonsense. This is basic physics that you can measure with scientific instruments. Love has a measurable frequency. Fear has a frequency. Gratitude has a frequency. Joy has a frequency. And wealth, abundance, financial prosperity. These have a very specific frequency that you can learn to tune into consciously. Scientists have actually measured the frequency of different emotions using devices like heart math technology. They found that emotions like gratitude, love, and appreciation create coherent, harmonious frequency patterns, while emotions like fear, anger, and worry create chaotic, incoherent patterns. When you're in coherent frequency states, you literally become more magnetic to positive outcomes and opportunities. When you align your consciousness with the wealth frequency, when you match your inner vibration to the vibration of abundance, you become a magnet for money. You start attracting opportunities, ideas, people, insights, and circumstances that create financial abundance. It's not magic or wishful thinking. It's physics. Think of it like tuning a radio, and this analogy will change how you think about consciousness forever. When you tune to 101.5 FM, you receive that station's signal clearly. When you tune to 95.3 FM, you get that station instead. The radio waves for both stations are always there, filling the air around you simultaneously, but you only receive the one you're tuned to. You can't receive multiple stations clearly at the same time. You have to choose one frequency to focus on. When you tune your consciousness to the wealth frequency, you receive wealth. When you're tuned to the scarcity frequency, you receive scarcity. When you're tuned to the struggle frequency, you receive struggle. When you're tuned to the abundance frequency, you receive abundance. The opportunities for all of these experiences are always present, but you can only receive the ones that match your frequency. Most people are unconsciously broadcasting the scarcity frequency 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They're constantly transmitting thoughts, feelings, and energy of lack, worry, limitation, not enough, fear about money, stress about bills, anxiety about the future, resentment toward wealthy people, beliefs that money is hard to get. And the universe, like a perfect mirror, reflects back exactly what they're broadcasting. They get more experiences of lack, more bills to worry about, more financial stress, more reasons to feel anxious about money. But once you learn how to consciously tune to the wealth frequency, your entire financial reality transforms. You start operating from assumption rather than hope, from abundance rather than lack, from gratitude rather than worry, from excitement rather than fear. You begin making decisions the way wealthy people make decisions. You start seeing opportunities the way wealthy people see opportunities. You attract the same types of people and circumstances that wealthy people attract. Here's what happens when you break free from limitation consciousness. And I want you to really pay attention to this, because this is where the magic happens. This is where your life actually changes. You stop seeing money as something outside yourself that you have to chase, struggle for, work impossibly hard to get, or convince someone else to give you. You start recognizing that wealth consciousness already exists within you right now, waiting to be activated and expressed through your thoughts, feelings, decisions, and actions. You stop making decisions from I can't afford it, and start making decisions from how can I afford it? Or even better, what would someone who already has unlimited money do in this situation? Instead of thinking I'm broke, you start thinking I'm in a temporary cash flow situation, but I have access to unlimited wealth. Instead of saying I can't, you start saying I choose not to, right now, but I could, if I wanted to. Instead of I wish I had money, you start saying I'm grateful for my abundant resources. But here's the most important part, and this is where most people get confused or think. This is about denial or delusion. None of this requires you to deny your current financial situation or pretend that your bank account has more money than it actually has. You're not lying to yourself or living in fantasy land or ignoring reality. You're simply operating from a different level of consciousness, a different assumption about what's possible for you. You can acknowledge your current situation while simultaneously operating from wealth consciousness. You can say, I currently have $500 in my bank account, and I have access to unlimited wealth. You can say, I'm currently experiencing a cash flow challenge, and I know that abundance is my natural state. You can say, my income is currently X, and I'm open to receiving much more. The key is holding both truths simultaneously, the current physical reality and the larger spiritual reality. You're not denying what is, but you're also not limiting yourself to what is. You're acknowledging what is, while claiming what's possible. Most people make the mistake of thinking that acknowledging their current financial situation means they have to accept it as permanent. But that's not true. You can acknowledge where you are while simultaneously moving toward where you want to be. In fact, you have to acknowledge where you are in order to move beyond it, because you can't change what you won't acknowledge. The moment you truly grasp that consciousness creates your financial reality, not the other way around, everything shifts in the most profound way. You realize you've been trying to solve an inner problem with outer solutions. You've been trying to change your bank account to feel wealthy, when the real secret is to feel wealthy first and let your bank account catch up. You've been trying to change your circumstances to change your feelings, when the truth is you have to change your feelings to change your circumstances. Most people are waiting for their external circumstances to change before they'll allow themselves to feel abundant. They think, once I have more money, then I'll feel wealthy. Once I get that promotion, then I'll feel successful. Once I pay off my debts, then I'll feel free. Once I reach my financial goals, then I'll be happy. But that's backwards. That's like waiting for the mirror to smile before you smile. It will never happen, because the mirror can only reflect what you're already expressing. You have to feel wealthy now, in this moment, regardless of your current circumstances. In order to attract the experiences that will match that feeling, you have to embody abundance before abundance can manifest in your life. You have to become the person who has what you want before you can have what you want. This is why some people can start with nothing and create massive wealth quickly, while others can work for decades with all the right strategies and stay stuck financially. It's not about luck, connections, education, intelligence, or even hard work, though all of those can be helpful. It's about consciousness. It's about the frequency you're broadcasting. It's about the assumptions you're operating from on a moment-to-moment basis. When you embody wealth consciousness, when you truly assume that abundance is your natural state, When you make decisions from overflow, rather than scarcity, the universe has no choice but to reorganize itself, to match your new level of consciousness. Opportunities appear seemingly out of nowhere. Ideas download into your mind, like inspiration from another dimension. The right people show up at the right time, with the right resources. Synchronicities become normal, everyday experiences. What most people call luck becomes your standard operating procedure. Your consciousness is the soil where your financial future grows. And just like a farmer wouldn't plant seeds in concrete and expect them to flourish, you can't plant money goals in scarcity consciousness and expect them to manifest. But when you prepare the soil of your consciousness, when you cultivate beliefs that support wealth, when you assume abundance as your natural state, every financial goal you plant will grow and flourish beyond what you thought possible. The financial industry doesn't want you to know this because it would put them out of business. They want you to believe that wealth creation is complicated, that you need their products and services, that you have to follow their complex strategies and formulas, that you need to work with financial advisors and buy their investment products and follow their complicated plans. But the truth is much simpler and much more powerful than anything they're selling you. Wealth is an inside job. It starts in consciousness and flows outward into physical reality. When your consciousness is aligned with abundance, the right strategies, opportunities, and resources will naturally appear in your life. When your consciousness is aligned with scarcity, no strategy in the world will create lasting wealth for you. This doesn't mean that external action isn't important. Of course, you need to take action. But when action comes from wealth consciousness, rather than scarcity consciousness, it feels inspired rather than desperate, effortless rather than forced, exciting rather than overwhelming. You find yourself naturally attracted to the right opportunities and naturally repelled by the wrong ones. You make better decisions because you're not operating from fear. You take more calculated risks because you're not afraid of losing what little you have. Here's what I want you to understand at the deepest level. You are not your circumstances. You are not your bank account. You are not your current financial situation. You are consciousness itself. And consciousness has the power to create any reality it assumes to be true. The money you want already exists. The wealth you desire is already yours in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. The only question is whether you're going to claim it or continue to reject it through limiting beliefs and scarcity consciousness. Every wealthy person started exactly where you are right now, as consciousness contemplating wealth. They didn't have the money first and then develop wealth consciousness. They developed wealth consciousness first, and then the money followed. This is the sequence that creates lasting abundance: consciousness first, then manifestation, not the other way around. Your current financial situation is not your financial identity. It's just where you happen to be right now, based on the consciousness you've been operating from up until this point. But consciousness can change, which means your financial reality can change. And the beautiful thing is that when consciousness changes, reality changes quickly to match it. I've seen people transform their financial lives in weeks or months by simply shifting their consciousness around money. I've seen people attract unexpected income, new opportunities, and financial windfalls by learning to operate from wealth consciousness rather than scarcity consciousness. And I've also seen people work incredibly hard for years without success because they never addressed the consciousness foundation that creates wealth. The universe is abundant. There is more than enough money, more than enough opportunities, more than enough resources for everyone to live in prosperity. The only limitation is in consciousness. When you release the limitations in your consciousness, you release the limitations in your financial reality. But transformation requires commitment. It requires you to be more committed to your vision of abundance than you are to your current story of limitation. It requires you to choose faith over fear, possibility over circumstance, assumption over hope. It requires you to trust the process, even when you can't see immediate results. Remember, consciousness is the cause, and financial reality is the effect. When you change the cause, the effect must change. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And often, the when is much sooner than you think possible. If this resonates with you, if something inside you knows that this is true, if you feel that spark of recognition that says, yes, this is how it really works, then you're ready for transformation. If you're tired of struggling with money, if you're ready to step into your natural abundance, if you're willing to let go of the limitations that have kept you stuck, then wealth consciousness is calling you. I want you to identify one limiting belief you've been carrying about money. Maybe it's money doesn't grow on trees, or you have to work hard for money, or there's not enough to go around, or rich people are greedy, or I don't deserve wealth, or money is the root of all evil. Acknowledge it, because awareness is the first step to transformation. You can't change what you're not aware of. Then rewrite that belief into an empowering assumption. Instead of money doesn't grow on trees, think money flows to me easily and naturally from multiple sources. Instead of I have to work hard for money, think I create wealth through inspired action and joy. Instead of there's not enough, think I live in an abundant universe with unlimited resources. Instead of I don't deserve wealth, think I deserve all the abundance life has to offer. In the comments below, write your new empowering money belief. Share your wealth consciousness assumption with this community. Let the universe see your declaration of abundance. Hit that like button if you're ready to shift from limitation consciousness to wealth consciousness. Subscribe to this channel, because understanding consciousness is just the beginning. Share this video with someone who needs to hear this message. Sometimes we're so close to our own limitations that we can't see them, but we can recognize them in others. By sharing this, you might be the catalyst for someone else's financial breakthrough. But most importantly, start operating from wealth consciousness today. Don't wait for your circumstances to change. Don't wait for more money to appear. Don't wait for the perfect opportunity. Start now, in this moment, with the decision to assume that abundance is your natural state. Remember, your consciousness is the soil where your financial future grows. Make sure you're planting your money goals in fertile ground. Your wealth transformation doesn't start when your bank account changes. It starts when your consciousness changes. And that can happen right now, in this moment, with this decision. The wealthy version of you already exists in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. That version is calling to you right now, inviting you to step into that reality. The question is, are you ready to answer that call? Are you ready to release the limitations that have kept you small? Are you ready to claim the abundance that is your birthright? Your new financial reality is waiting for you to claim it. The universe is ready to support your transformation. Wealth consciousness is ready to be activated in your life. The only question is, are you ready to step into wealth consciousness and become the abundant person you were always meant to be? This is your moment of choice. This is your invitation to transformation. This is your opportunity to step out of limitation and into limitless possibility. The choice is yours, and it starts with consciousness. Choose wealth. Choose abundance. Choose the unlimited financial potential that exists within you right now. Your journey to financial freedom begins here. Your transformation to wealth consciousness starts now. Welcome to the abundant life you deserve.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight I want to speak to you about something that will challenge everything you've been taught about what's possible and what's not. I want to share with you the secret of manifesting the seemingly impossible. Before we begin, let me ask you something. What is it that you desire but have dismissed as impossible? What dream have you buried because someone told you it was unrealistic? What healing have you given up on because the doctors said it couldn't be done? What financial breakthrough have you stopped believing in because the circumstances seem too dire? What relationship have you written off because it appears hopeless? I want you to hold that desire in your mind as we speak tonight, because I'm going to show you that there is no such thing as impossible. There are only assumptions you haven't dared to make. You see, my friends, the word impossible is nothing more than a limitation of the human imagination. It's a boundary that exists only in the minds of those who do not understand the true nature of consciousness. When you truly comprehend what consciousness is and how it operates, You realize that the only impossibility is impossibility itself. Let me tell you a story that happened just last month. A woman came to see me in tears. She said, "Neville, my son has been missing for 3 years. The police have given up. Everyone says he's dead. They tell me I need to accept reality and move on. But I can't. I won't. Is there anything I can do?" Now, by all conventional standards, this seemed impossible. 3 years missing, no leads, no hope according to everyone around her. But I looked at this desperate mother and I said, "My dear, the only reality you need to accept is that your son is alive, well, and coming home to you." "But how can you say that?" she asked. "You don't know what happened to him." I said, "I know something far more important. I know that consciousness creates reality, not the other way around. I know that what you assume to be true becomes true. And I know that if you can imagine your son walking through your door, healthy and happy, and if you can feel the reality of that reunion with every fiber of your being, then that imaginal act must and will manifest in your world." She looked at me as if I had lost my mind, but I continued. "Every night before you sleep, I want you to hear his key in the lock. I want you to feel him embrace you. I want you to smell his familiar scent. I want you to have the conversation you'll have when he returns. Live in that reality so completely that his absence becomes the dream and his presence becomes the truth." 6 weeks later, she called me, sobbing with joy. Her son had contacted the police. He'd been suffering from amnesia after an accident, living in another state under a different identity. His memory had suddenly returned, and he was coming home. Was this impossible? According to human reasoning, yes. According to the infinite power of consciousness, it was inevitable the moment she assumed it to be true. This is what I want you to understand tonight. There is nothing impossible to consciousness, because consciousness is the very substance from which all things are made. When the Bible says with God all things are possible, it's not speaking of some distant deity. It's speaking of the God consciousness that you are. But why do most people fail to manifest what they consider impossible? Because they approach it with the wrong consciousness. They try to manifest the impossible while remaining in the consciousness of impossibility. They affirm their desire while feeling their limitation. They visualize their dream while believing in their current circumstances. You cannot manifest the impossible from the state of consciousness that sees things as impossible. You must first become the person for whom this so-called impossibility is natural, normal, and inevitable. Let me share another story. A gentleman came to my lectures who had been told by doctors that he would never walk again. A devastating spinal injury had left him paralyzed from the waist down. He'd been in a wheelchair for 2 years, and every medical expert confirmed that his condition was permanent and irreversible. But after hearing these teachings, something stirred within him. He decided that he would no longer accept the verdict of the medical establishment. Every night he would imagine himself walking, not hoping to walk, not wishing to walk, but actually experiencing the sensation of walking. He told me later, "Neville, I didn't just see myself walking. I felt the ground beneath my feet. I felt my muscles moving. I felt the joy of motion through my entire body. I made it so real in my imagination that sometimes I would wake up surprised to find myself in the wheelchair." Month after month, he persisted in this imaginal act. His family thought he was in denial. His doctors were concerned about his mental state. But he knew something they didn't know. He knew that imagination creates reality. After 8 months of persistent imagining, something began to happen. He started to feel tingling in his legs, sensations that doctors said were impossible, then slight movement, then strength returning. Within 18 months he was walking again. The doctors called it a miracle. The medical journals called it unexplained. But he knew exactly what had happened. He had dared to assume what seemed impossible until it became inevitable. Now, I want you to understand something crucial about manifesting the impossible. It's not about overcoming obstacles. It's about transcending the consciousness that sees obstacles in the first place. The impossible doesn't become possible. Rather, you rise to a level of consciousness where impossibility doesn't exist. You see, what you call impossible is only impossible from your current state of consciousness. From a higher state, it's not only possible, it's already done. The person you become when you truly embody your desire doesn't struggle to make it happen, because in their consciousness it has already happened. This is why Jesus could say, "Whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." Not believe that you will receive it, but believe that you have received it. Present tense, already done. This is the consciousness that makes the impossible inevitable. But how do you develop this consciousness? How do you move from seeing something as impossible to experiencing it as already accomplished? The secret lies in what I call the leap of faith, but not faith as most people understand it. Faith is not blind belief. Faith is not hoping for the best while expecting the worst. Faith is not wishful thinking or positive affirmations. True faith is the ability to feel the reality of your desire so completely that it becomes more real to you than your current circumstances. Let me tell you about a young man who came to my lectures with what seemed like an impossible dream. He was working as a janitor in a small office building, barely making ends meet, with no education beyond high school. But he had a burning desire to become a successful film director. Everyone around him said it was impossible. You don't have connections, they said. You don't have money for film school. You don't have experience. You're too old to start. Be realistic. But this young man understood something profound. He understood that impossibility is just a story we tell ourselves about limitation. So he decided to tell himself a different story. Every day as he cleaned those offices, he would imagine himself on movie sets, directing actors, making creative decisions, seeing his name in the credits. He would feel the satisfaction of completing a film, the excitement of premiere night, the joy of seeing audiences respond to his work. More importantly, he began to think from his desire instead of about his desire. Instead of thinking, I want to be a director, he began thinking, I am a director. Instead of cleaning those offices as a janitor who dreamed of making movies, he cleaned them as a director who was currently between projects. This shift in consciousness changed everything. He began to notice opportunities that had always been there but were invisible to his previous state of consciousness. He met people who could help him. Resources appeared that he hadn't seen before. Within 3 years, he had written, produced, and directed his first independent film, which won awards at several festivals. Was this impossible? From the consciousness of limitation, absolutely. From the consciousness of fulfilled desire, it was inevitable. The key to manifesting the impossible is to understand that there are no impossible things. It's only impossible states of consciousness. Change your state, and what seemed impossible becomes not only possible but unavoidable. But here's where most people stumble. They try to manifest the impossible while holding on to the very beliefs and assumptions that make it seem impossible in the first place. They want to heal while believing in the reality of their illness. They want wealth while feeling poor. They want love while feeling unworthy. You cannot serve two masters. You cannot simultaneously hold the consciousness of your limitation and the consciousness of your liberation. You must choose, and choosing means letting go of everything that contradicts your assumption of fulfillment. This is what I call dying to be reborn. The old consciousness, the one that sees your desire as impossible, must die for the new consciousness to be born. You must be willing to abandon your comfortable relationship with limitation in order to embrace the uncomfortable unfamiliarity of infinite possibility. I remember a woman who wanted to reconcile with her estranged daughter after 15 years of complete silence. Their relationship had ended in bitter conflict, harsh words had been spoken, and all attempts at reconciliation had failed. The daughter had moved across the country and refused all contact. By every reasonable standard, this reconciliation was impossible. Too much time had passed. Too much hurt had accumulated. The daughter had made it clear she never wanted to see her mother again. But this woman decided to live in the assumption that she and her daughter were reconciled, that they had a beautiful relationship, that they spoke regularly and lovingly. Every day she would imagine conversations with her daughter. She would feel the warmth of their renewed connection. She would experience the joy of their reconciliation so completely that sometimes she would reach for the phone to call her, forgetting that they weren't actually speaking. For months nothing changed in the external world, but everything was changing in the world of consciousness. This mother was becoming someone for whom reconciliation with her daughter was natural and normal. Then one day, completely out of the blue, her daughter called. Through tears, she said, "Mom, I don't know why, but I've been thinking about you constantly. I miss you. Can we talk?" Was this impossible? According to the laws of human psychology and the evidence of years of estrangement, yes. According to the laws of consciousness, it was inevitable the moment the assumption was made and maintained. You see, what we call miracles are simply the natural result of consciousness operating according to its own laws. These laws are as reliable and predictable as the law of gravity. They just operate in a dimension that most people don't understand. When you truly grasp this, you realize that nothing is impossible because impossibility itself is impossible. Consciousness has no limitations except the ones it accepts. And since you are consciousness, you have no limitations except the ones you accept. But accepting a new assumption, especially one that contradicts all evidence, requires tremendous courage. It requires what I call the courage of the creator. You must be willing to stand alone in your assumption while the whole world tells you you're wrong. This is not easy. When you're manifesting the impossible, everyone around you becomes a prophet of limitation. They'll show you statistics that prove it can't be done. They'll tell you stories of others who tried and failed. They'll remind you of all the reasons why you should be realistic. But you must remember that their belief in impossibility is just as creative as your belief in possibility. They are creating a world where your desire is impossible. You are creating a world where it's inevitable. The question is, which world will you choose to inhabit? I knew a man who was $500,000 in debt, with creditors threatening legal action. His business had failed. His house was in foreclosure and his credit was destroyed. Everyone told him to declare bankruptcy and start over. By every financial measure, his situation was hopeless. But this man understood the power of assumption. Instead of assuming he was bankrupt, he assumed he was financially free. Instead of feeling the stress of debt, he cultivated the feeling of abundance. Instead of thinking about his problems, he thought from the solution. Every morning he would sit quietly and feel what it would be like to be completely debt-free with money in the bank. He would imagine the relief, the freedom, the peace of mind. He made this feeling so real that it became more compelling than his actual circumstances. Within 6 months, a series of seemingly miraculous events unfolded. An old business contact offered him a lucrative consulting contract. A distant relative left him a substantial inheritance he didn't know existed. A legal settlement from a case he'd forgotten about came through. Not only was he able to pay off all his debts, but he ended up with more money than he'd ever had before. Was this impossible? According to financial logic and statistical probability, absolutely. According to the infinite creativity of consciousness, it was simply consciousness expressing as form in response to a persistent assumption. This is what I want you to understand. Consciousness doesn't know about impossible. Consciousness only knows about assumptions and their inevitable manifestation. When you assume something is impossible, consciousness manifests that impossibility. When you assume something is inevitable, consciousness manifests that inevitability. The choice is always yours. You can assume limitation and experience limitation, or you can assume fulfillment and experience fulfillment. But you cannot assume one and experience the other. This is why I tell people, dare to assume what you dare not assume. Make assumptions so bold that they frighten you with their audacity. Assume states of consciousness so elevated that they make your current problems seem like the dreams of a fevered imagination. But assumption alone is not enough. You must persist in your assumption until it hardens into fact. This is where most people fail when attempting to manifest the impossible. They make the assumption for a day, a week, maybe even a month, but when they don't see immediate results, they abandon it and return to their old consciousness of limitation. The impossible takes longer to manifest not because it's more difficult for consciousness, but because it requires a more complete death of the old self and birth of the new. You must persist in your assumption until you become so identified with the new consciousness that the old consciousness becomes foreign to you. But let me be very clear about something. Manifesting the impossible is not about forcing outcomes or manipulating circumstances. It's about becoming so aligned with your desire that its manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. When you truly embody the consciousness of your fulfilled desire, you don't struggle to make it happen. You don't worry about how or when it will manifest. You simply know that it must and will, just as you know the sun will rise tomorrow. This knowing is not intellectual. It's felt. It's a deep cellular certainty that permeates every aspect of your being. It's the difference between hoping something will happen and knowing it already has happened in the realm of consciousness and is simply making its way into physical form. So how do you develop this knowing? How do you move from seeing your desire as impossible to experiencing it as inevitable? The answer lies in consistent, persistent, imaginative practice. Every night before sleep, when your conscious mind is quiet and your imagination is most receptive, I want you to enact the scene that would exist if your impossible desire were already fulfilled. not as a distant hope or future possibility, but as a present reality. If you desire healing, feel the vitality coursing through your body. If you desire wealth, feel the security and freedom that abundance brings. If you desire love, feel yourself beloved and cherished. Make it so real in your imagination that your physical senses are convinced it's actually happening. The secret is to make your imaginal act more vivid and compelling than your physical circumstances. When your imagination becomes more real than your five senses, reality has no choice but to conform to your imagination. But remember, this is not a technique you do once or twice and then wait for results. This is a way of being. You must live from your assumption, not just think about it. You must become the person for whom your desire is natural, normal, and already accomplished. And here's something crucial. When you're manifesting the impossible, you must be prepared for resistance, not just from others, but from your own habitual consciousness. Your old self will fight to maintain its familiar limitations. Your rational mind will present you with evidence of why your assumption is unrealistic. This is natural and expected. Don't fight these doubts. Simply redirect your attention back to your assumption. Every time you catch yourself thinking from your old consciousness of limitation, gently but firmly return to thinking from your new consciousness of fulfillment. Remember, you're not trying to convince your mind that something impossible is possible. You're training your consciousness to inhabit a reality where impossibility doesn't exist. There's a profound difference. The impossible is only impossible for someone who believes in impossibility. For consciousness that has transcended such limitations, all things are not only possible but inevitable when properly assumed and persistently maintained. So tonight I challenge you to examine your deepest desires, the ones you've labeled impossible, unrealistic, too good to be true. I challenge you to dare to assume their fulfillment. I challenge you to become so bold in your assumptions that you shock yourself with your own audacity. But most importantly, I challenge you to persist. Persist in your assumption, regardless of what others say. Persist despite contrary evidence. Persist until your assumption becomes more real to you than your circumstances. Persist until the impossible becomes inevitable. For you are not human beings having spiritual experiences. You are consciousness itself, temporarily forgetting its own infinite creative power. When you remember who you truly are, nothing remains impossible. Everything becomes a matter of assumption and persistence. The question is not whether you can manifest the impossible. You are already doing it. The question is, will you do it consciously or unconsciously? Will you create by design or by default? Will you assume limitation or liberation? You are the operant power in your world. You are consciousness expressing as individual experience. You are the God of your own reality. And for God, nothing is impossible, including the realization of your most impossible dreams. Dare to assume. Dare to persist. Dare to become the version of yourself for whom your impossible desire is already an accomplished fact. The impossible is waiting for you to make it inevitable. Thank you and good evening. And I'll see you in the next video. If this resonates with you and you found value in these teachings, please like this video, subscribe to Best of Lectures, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Your support helps me continue bringing you these powerful lectures that can transform lives. Until next time, remember, you are the operant power in your world.
Many of us have bought a lottery ticket at some point, hoping for a life-changing win. But what if I told you there's a way to make that hope a reality? What if the lottery is more than just luck? The first step in this journey begins with your mind, your imagination. You see, the mind is not just a tool for thinking. It's a creator of realities. When you play the lottery, don't just purchase a ticket. Purchase it with the belief that you have already won. See it, feel it, and know that it is yours. Every time you hold that ticket, you are holding a confirmation of your desire already fulfilled. Feel the emotions of winning, the excitement, the joy, the peace. Your emotions are not separate from your desires. They are the very fuel that propels them into existence. When you feel the winning, you are aligning yourself with the frequency of abundance. You must become the person who has already won, not in the distant future, but right now. It is essential that you release all doubt. Doubt is the thief of manifestation. When you let go of uncertainty and fully accept that your win is inevitable, you free yourself to receive it. Let the thought of winning be as natural to you as breathing. Be specific. What will you do with your winnings? What dreams will you live out? The more detailed and vivid your vision, the stronger the pull it has to manifest. The universe responds to precision. While you hold this image, detach from the how and when. You do not need to know the mechanics of how your win will unfold. The moment you let go of the need to figure out the process, the universe takes over. Your belief is enough. Next time you play the lottery, do not just see it as a game of chance. Play it with the full awareness that the game is yours to win. Hold your ticket not as a dream, but as a reminder that your desires are already being brought into existence. There is magic in your belief, in your imagination, and in your faith, that what you desire is already yours. Trust in the power within you. The magic isn't just in the numbers. It's in the belief you carry that your desires are already fulfilled. Play the game of life, not as a spectator, but as the creator of your own reality. The power of imagination is one of the most profound forces in shaping our lives. It is not just a passing daydream or a fleeting thought. Imagination is the very blueprint of reality. Your mind is not a passive observer of the world. It is an active participant in the creation of your experience. Everything you see, hear, and touch began as an idea in someone's mind. It was first imagined before it ever became real. Likewise, the life you are living today is a reflection of the thoughts and images you have been holding in your own imagination. To understand the power of imagination, you must first realize that your thoughts are far more than just mental noise. They are the very building blocks of your reality. When you imagine something, you are not merely thinking about it, you are creating it. Your thoughts are powerful magnets that attract the people, situations, and experiences that match the frequency of those thoughts. They are like seeds planted in the soil of your subconscious mind, and as you continue to nurture those thoughts, they begin to take root and grow into your external world. But not all thoughts are created equal. The key to using your imagination effectively lies in conviction. It is not enough to simply think about something. You must think about it with certainty and belief. When you hold a vision in your mind and truly believe in its reality, you are sending a signal to the universe that you expect it to unfold. Conviction is the spark that ignites the power of imagination. It is the energy that transforms a fleeting thought into a tangible experience. Many people make the mistake of imagining something they desire, but without fully committing to the belief that it can be theirs. They might imagine winning the lottery, for example, but they simultaneously entertain doubts or fears that it could never happen. The power of imagination cannot work in the presence of doubt. It is only when you fully accept the image you've created in your mind that it can begin to materialize in your physical reality. This is why it is so important to align your imagination with your emotions. Imagination alone is powerful, but when you add emotion to the mix, it becomes even more potent. Emotions are the fuel that energize your thoughts. The more intensely you feel the joy, excitement, and gratitude of already having what you desire, the stronger your signal becomes. The universe does not respond to your desires based on what you think. You are answered based on what you feel. If you feel abundant, you attract abundance. If you feel love, you attract love. If you feel success, you attract success. It's also crucial to remember that your imagination is not confined by time or space. You do not need to wait for the right moment or the right circumstances to begin imagining your desired life. Imagination transcends these limitations. The moment you begin to imagine, you are already creating. The future you wish for already exists in the realm of your imagination. It's simply waiting for you to claim it. One of the most powerful aspects of imagination is its ability to override the limitations of the present. If your current reality doesn't reflect the life you want to live, your imagination gives you the freedom to step into the version of yourself who already has everything you desire. This is where many people falter. They look at their present circumstances and allow them to dictate what's possible. But your circumstances are not the truth of who you are. They are just a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. The present moment is fluid, and your imagination has the power to shape it. When you begin to fully grasp the power of your imagination, you will realize that you are not a passive observer in life. You are the creator. Every thought, every image you hold in your mind is a stroke on the canvas of your reality. The more clearly and vividly you see your desired outcome, the quicker it will begin to appear in your life. Imagination is the first step, but belief and emotion are what bring it into form. The next time you catch yourself imagining something, remember that it is not just a harmless daydream. Your thoughts are a powerful tool for creation. You are not merely thinking, you are laying the foundation for your future. Hold your vision with conviction, fuel it with emotion, and watch as the world around you begins to shift and align with the reality you've imagined. The life you desire is already yours. It is waiting for you to claim it through the power of your imagination. Emotional alignment is one of the most powerful principles you can embrace in the process of manifesting your desires. It goes far beyond simply thinking about what you want or imagining it in your mind. Emotional alignment requires you to step into the feeling of already having what you desire. It's not enough to envision your success. You must become it. You must embody the emotions of having already achieved your goal, because it is in those emotions that the true power of manifestation resides. The universe responds not just to your thoughts, but to the vibrational frequency you are emitting. Everything in the universe is energy, and emotions are a direct expression of your energy. When you align your emotional state with the reality you wish to create, you are signaling to the universe that you are ready to receive it. Your feelings are magnetic. They draw towards you the experiences, people, and opportunities that match the vibration you are emitting. Therefore, if you want to attract abundance, success, love, or anything else, you must first align your emotional state with the feelings of already having those things. Imagine for a moment that you have just won a large sum of money. Your mind instantly creates an image of what that would look like. Perhaps you see yourself celebrating with friends, buying your dream home, or traveling the world. But what truly matters in that moment is not the image itself, but the feelings that arise within you. How would you feel in that moment? Joyful, relieved, excited, grateful? These emotions are the true currency of creation. To manifest your desires, you must learn to feel those emotions now, not in the future, but in the present moment. The secret is to act as if you have already won, to embody the victory even before the physical evidence appears. This may sound difficult at first, especially if your current circumstances do not reflect what you desire, but it is in this very practice that you begin to shift your reality. Feeling the emotions of success, love, or fulfillment, even if you don't yet have them in your physical world, aligns your energy with the future you wish to create. When you feel the emotions of already having won, you create a powerful alignment between your inner world and the outer world you want to experience. You no longer need to chase after your desires because you are already living in the state of having them. Many people make the mistake of waiting for their desires to manifest before they allow themselves to feel the emotions associated with success. They think, when I get the money, then I'll feel abundant, or when I find the right partner, then I'll feel loved. This is backward thinking. The secret to creating anything in your life is to feel the emotions of already having it, even before the physical evidence is present. It's the feeling that fuels the creation process. This emotional alignment is what moves you from being in a state of lack to one of abundance. When you feel like a winner, when you genuinely embody the emotions of success and gratitude, you stop identifying with scarcity or limitation. You begin to identify with the version of yourself who has already achieved their goals. This shift in identity is crucial because your identity dictates how you experience the world. When you align with the emotions of your desired reality, you also align with the identity of the person who already has it. And once that alignment occurs, the universe begins to match your frequency by bringing you the experiences, people, and opportunities that align with that energy. Feeling your emotions as if your desires have already come true helps to build trust in the process. When you cultivate the emotions of already having received what you want, you send a clear signal to the universe that you trust its timing and its ability to deliver. You are no longer in a state of doubt or impatience, but in a state of deep belief that what you desire is already on its way. The next time you think about your dreams or goals, don't just visualize them, feel them. Let yourself bask in the emotions of success, joy, and fulfillment. Feel the gratitude as if it has already happened, and allow those feelings to become your new reality. The more you practice emotional alignment, the quicker your outer reality will begin to match the vibrational frequency you are sending out into the world. You are not just imagining your success, you are living it, right now, in every thought and emotion you experience. Doubt is the enemy of creation. It is the silent force that works against the flow of your desires, casting shadows on the powerful energy that could bring them into reality. When you doubt, you disconnect from the very source that holds the key to your dreams. Doubt clouds your vision and weakens your belief, making it impossible for your desires to manifest as they should. It is essential, therefore, to release doubt completely, as it has no place in the creative process. The true catalyst for manifestation lies in unwavering belief, in knowing that what you desire is already yours, and trusting that the universe will deliver it in its perfect time and way. At the core of manifestation is the law of assumption. When you assume that your desire is already a reality, you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the version of yourself who has already received it. The act of doubting this assumption creates resistance, disrupting the natural flow of your desires into your life. Doubt tells the universe that you are unsure, that you don't fully believe in your ability to receive what you want. When you project this uncertainty, you are essentially telling the universe, I am not ready for this. But when you let go of doubt, you create an open channel for your desires to come to you effortlessly. When you feel doubt creeping in, remind yourself that your thoughts are not permanent truths. Just as easily as you can think a doubtful thought, you can replace it with a thought of belief and trust. The more you practice this, the easier it becomes to shift your mindset from one of uncertainty to one of total faith. Every time doubt enters your mind, pause and consciously choose to release it. Affirm to yourself, I trust that what I desire is already on its way. It is already mine. This simple act of faith shifts the entire energetic landscape, bringing you back into alignment with the manifestation process. Trusting that you have already received what you desire is the key to unlocking the doors of manifestation. Trust that everything is unfolding perfectly, even if you cannot yet see it in your physical reality. The universe operates on its own timing, and while you may not always understand the how or the when, you must trust that it is working in your favor. The very fact that you have a desire means that the seeds of its fulfillment are already planted. Your job is to nurture that seed with belief and trust, allowing it to grow into the reality you've envisioned. One of the most important aspects of releasing doubt is learning to detach from the how and when. Often, we become fixated on how our desires will come to us and when they will arrive. This attachment creates anxiety and reinforces doubt because the mind is trying to control the process. The truth is, you do not need to know how your desires will manifest, nor do you need to worry about the timeline. Your belief is enough. The universe is always at work behind the scenes, arranging the perfect circumstances for your desires to unfold. Your role is to trust the process and believe that it is already happening. As you release doubt and embrace faith, you will begin to feel lighter, more confident, and at peace. Doubt no longer holds power over you. You will be able to look at your desires not as distant hopes, but as inevitable realities. You will trust in your own ability to create the life you desire. And in doing so, you will see the magic of manifestation unfold before you. The key to this process is knowing that your inner belief is the most important tool in creating your reality. When you trust, when you believe with every fiber of your being that what you desire is already yours, you unlock the door to limitless possibilities. Doubt cannot enter when your belief is unwavering. It is in the absence of doubt that you find the true power to manifest everything you want. Clarity is the cornerstone of successful manifestation. When you are clear about what you want, you create a precise and powerful vibration that aligns your inner world with your desired outcome. The universe operates on a frequency of energy, and in order to attract your desires, you must send out a clear and specific signal. The more specific you are in your desire, the more easily the universe can respond to your request. Vague desires result in vague manifestations. To truly harness the power of manifestation, you must know exactly what you want and visualize it with unwavering clarity. The process of manifestation begins with an idea, a thought or desire that sparks within you. This desire has the potential to become a reality, but in order for this to happen, you must refine that idea. A general wish, such as "I want more money" or "I want to be happy," lacks the detail that is necessary to bring it into form. When you ask for more money without specifying an amount, the universe may respond in ways you don't expect, and you may not even notice when your desire is fulfilled. Clarity brings precision to your requests and ensures that you are asking for exactly what you want, not just an ambiguous version of it. Imagine you are standing before a blank canvas, ready to create a masterpiece. If you don't have a clear vision of what you want to paint, your brush strokes may wander aimlessly, producing a result that feels incomplete or unsatisfying. Similarly, when you approach manifestation with uncertainty, your desires become scattered and the universe struggles to bring them into your reality. But when you know exactly what you want, the universe can work in perfect harmony to bring that vision to life. Every detail matters. Being specific in your desire does not just mean knowing the what, but also understanding the how and the why. For example, if you desire a new home, don't just visualize a house in general terms. Think about the features you want, how many rooms, the style, the location, the feeling you want to experience in your new space. Visualize the color of the walls, the furniture, the natural light, and the energy you want to experience when you walk through the front door. The more detailed your visualization, the more the universe can align the energy necessary to make that home a reality for you. The same applies to any desire, whether it's financial abundance, a loving relationship, or a successful career. Clarity helps you create a vivid mental image of your goals, and this image is what fuels the energy needed for manifestation. When you have a clear mental picture, you can focus all your attention on it, infusing it with emotion and energy, and aligning your actions with the goal. This focus creates a powerful magnetic field around your desire, attracting the opportunities, people, and circumstances that will bring it to life. Clarity also strengthens your belief. When you are specific about your desires, you are telling yourself that you are worthy of receiving them. You are setting a clear intention, and intention is the driving force behind all manifestation. When your intention is focused and clear, you approach your goal with certainty, and this certainty is the fuel that propels your desires into reality. Clarity allows you to notice when the universe is responding. Often the universe sends us messages, opportunities, and signs that our desires are already in motion. If your desire is vague, it becomes difficult to recognize these signs. But when you are specific, you can easily identify when something aligns with your goal. The clearer your intention, the more you will begin to notice these signs, and this feedback from the universe will reinforce your belief that your desire is on its way. In the process of manifestation, clarity is essential because it gives the universe the roadmap it needs to deliver your desires. You must know exactly what you want, and you must hold that vision with absolute certainty. By doing so, you create a direct line of communication between your desires and the universe, ensuring that nothing is lost in translation. The more specific you are, the faster and more effortlessly your desires will come into your reality. Remember, the universe is always responding to your thoughts. So be clear, be specific, and trust that your desires are already on their way. Detaching from the outcome is one of the most liberating and powerful practices in the manifestation process. It is the practice of letting go of the need to control how and when your desires will manifest. While you focus your thoughts on your desire, you must also release any attachment to the details of how it will happen. This shift in mindset is essential for allowing your desires to unfold in the most natural and effortless way. When you are attached to the how and when, you are essentially limiting the universe's ability to deliver your desires in the most ideal way. When you detach from the outcome, you free the universe to work in the most perfect and unexpected ways. The first step to detaching from the outcome is to recognize that you do not need to know how your desires will manifest. The how is not your responsibility. When you obsess over the logistics of how something will happen, you are placing limitations on your manifestation. The universe has an infinite number of ways to bring your desires to fruition, but when you try to control the process, you are narrowing your options. The key is to trust that the universe knows how to deliver your desires in the best possible way, even if you cannot see the path. Your role is to hold the vision of your desire clearly in your mind, to feel the emotions of already having it, and to trust that it will come to you in the perfect form and timing. Letting go of the when is equally important. Many people struggle with impatience, and it's easy to become frustrated when things don't manifest according to your timeline. However, the moment you begin to insist that your desire must happen at a specific time, you are creating resistance. The universe does not work on human timelines. It operates on divine timing, which is always in alignment with what is best for you. Trust that the universe knows when the right moment will be for your manifestation. Often the timing of your desire is perfectly aligned with other opportunities, circumstances, or people that will support your success. If you force the timing, you may be stepping outside of the natural flow of events that need to unfold. When you detach from the outcome, you also release the emotional charge associated with it. Often we become so emotionally invested in the outcome that we allow ourselves to become anxious, fearful, or frustrated if things aren't progressing as quickly as we would like. This emotional attachment to the outcome creates resistance and blocks the flow of manifestation. The key to detachment is cultivating a sense of peace and trust, knowing that your desires are already on their way. Your job is to remain focused on your vision and to take inspired action when needed, but without being attached to how or when things will unfold.